It is again Q&A time, my friends. A few quick announcements before we go. Number one, all of you buying who have bought the Nether Better Upgrade Manual, if any of you have not received it after sending your money, just remind me by email, guys. Some of the emails that I found on your order where I sent it to some of you, some of those emails are not legit. They don't work. It's probably an outdated email you have. So I just want all of you to know, if for some reason you didn't get your manual, just remind me. Just email me, tell me that, show me a receipt of your purchase, and give me a good email link, and I'll send it to you, okay? Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to check on it if you're wondering why it hasn't shown up, because I get these all sent out usually within less than 24 hours for the most part. So if you haven't got yours yet, there must have been something wrong with your email. So I'm just putting it out there so you know. Don't be afraid to ask, guys, what's going on. And I'll straighten it out with you, okay? This has only happened to a few people so far, but if you happen to be one of them, you should know that. Okay, and then other announcement. In the information box, guys, there's all kinds of links to new up-and-coming fitness channels that I really respect. I see real potential, okay? Even though they're small now, the direction some of these people are aiming their fitness channel, it's more important. The potential of these channels is more important than a lot of what you've got out there for mainstream fitness channels, okay? So please give them some support. There's nothing like when you're starting out a channel, when all of a sudden you get a new bump of subscribers to really motivate you on your content. It's like passion, it's energy, it's good. Brings out the best in the person making the channel, okay? So please check out the links in the information box, guys, and please subscribe to those channels so you can get in early, show your support, and watch the evolution of where real potential lies, okay? So much love. Let's get started on the questions. Hey Nether, what do you think about... You know what? I'm going to start trying to teach myself to mention names of who's asking the questions. Let's make it a little more personal, right? Akuma. That is the names that I can pronounce. And I'm not afraid to stick my foot in my mouth and do my best to pronounce the ones that I can't. So that ought to be laughable. Let's do this. Akuma says, "Hey Nether, what do you think about no salt, low salt, sea salt intake? How much would you say is optimal?" Okay, refined salt that's sodium is detrimental to health, and that's what mostly is sold as table salt. It's terrible. However, real sea salt or real pink Himalayan salt is very good for you. It's got like 100 trace minerals in it. Now, a lot of people can do different experiments as far as the amount. Sometimes I consume really high amounts of Celtic sea salt. Celtic sea salt or Himalayan pink salt, those are my two favorite brands that I know are legit. Sometimes I'll consume a lot of that to gain mass and size, to get more water retention inside the muscles. But it doesn't work like refined sodium. It doesn't blow you up dangerously. It only does so to a healthy degree. Now, you can still overdo it, and when I overdo it on healthy salts, I tend to just feel more dry, like my toes will crack, things like that, because the sheer amount of healthy sea salt in my body is just a little high for the amount of water. So it's an electrolyte versus water balance type issue, but it's never hurt me. It's just something where you can basically go by your cravings. When you're eating real salt with real minerals, follow your cravings. If you're craving it, your body needs some of those trace minerals. Sprinkle your food with it. When you stop craving it, don't force feed it. That means you're good right now on electrolytes. It's that simple. When you're really eating real electrolytes, the 100 of them that's supposed to be there, instead of refined sodium by itself, with throws everything out of balance and destroys cellular fluid balance and all kinds of shit in your body. When you're eating the real deal, you can trust your cravings. Your body will tell you a little more trace minerals, a little more electrolytes today, you'll get that salt craving. And as long as you're eating the real salt with all the minerals, it's good for you. So you can follow your cravings on that. Akuma has another question. What do you think about nutritional yeast? It tastes great. It has selenium, zinc, B vitamins, and it's a decent protein source, being 4 grams per tablespoon. Yeah, nutritional yeast is it's a healthy thing. Many people have had a lot of positive health impact from it. when I was a kid, actually, my mom fed me that growing up. That was one of my daily health nutrients, you know, and uh, and I'm thankful for that. So yeah, good thing. Another question by Akuma. Forgetting about being put into some ridiculous elitist category to fit into some group, i.e., vegan, fruitarian, carnivore, etc., do you still consider yourself to be eating plant based? If not, what animal foods have you added back to your diet and why? What differences have you noticed? I've been eating solely plant based for over 5 years now and have never felt better, so I'm really curious of your thoughts. Your knowledge and experience is appreciated. Well, thanks, man. I don't know that I understand the definition of that term plant-based fully. The way I thought I understood it was that it means you eat mostly plants, but not all. Because if you eat all plants, then you get to be called a vegan. Ugh, ugh. But so I think I'm eating plant-based according to my understanding of the definition, which means mostly plant foods. You could say my whole family eats that way, but we are including some animal products. The ones that I've personally reintroduced into my diet are eggs, bone broth, a little bit of chicken and turkey here and there, a little bit of tuna here and there. Off the top of my head, I think that's it as far as what I've reintroduced. The reasoning for me is that my vegan diet, as good as it was nutritionally, it was still higher carb than what's optimal for my personal metabolism. This doesn't apply to everybody. I have a somewhat, a bit of a tendency towards insulin resistance, and I have a glucose meter, so I study how every food affects me. And for me, that diet was good, and I did such a great job with the supplements that I made, personal progress, physically, mentally. I got better for the 3+ years that I was totally vegan. However, I'm doing even better now in my health because I'm tailoring it more just to me as an individual. Turns out I have a more caveman-like metabolism than most people. Like I always say, from all my research over the years, I would say that if you average up all the humans on this earth, the vast majority will improve their health by going more plant-based, and a smaller percentage can improve their health by going completely vegan. Whether you want to call it that or maybe come up with a new name that doesn't have so many negative connotations attached to it, thanks to the mouthpieces promoting that cause under that name. But so that's basically my story. I'm tailoring my diet to my personal metabolism. Ideally, I wish that I thrived my best on all plant foods because I don't like exploiting any living thing. I really don't. However, does a tiger have a choice, really? Do you think a tiger can start eating grass and be all right? A tiger's genetics are a tiger's genetics. I'm not saying I'm a tiger genetically. I'm saying that to whatever percentage my caveman metabolism does better on a very low carb, hunter-gatherer primitive style metabolism, that's what I have inside me as a digestive tract, So, like I always say, man, it's all about personal mastery of your own metabolism, your own hormones, your own glands, your own mind-body-spirit connection. There's no one diet for everybody. No matter how many books somebody sells that way, there isn't. So, hopefully that explains that. It's my basic 2 cents. Much love. Next question. Morior Invictus. Morior. Yeah, I have no idea how to pronounce that, in case you didn't notice. Here's your question. Hey, Nether. Another question. Dog who I have had since I was 5 died a few days ago. I'm sorry, my friend. And I was in college, so I wasn't there when it happened. She watched me grow up, and I watched her go from puppy to old dog. I remember you answered someone's questions about seeing their loved ones again. What's your view in regards to animals? Absolutely, my friend. All these things come from the same source in different forms of consciousness. Obviously, a dog's a little different than a human. But if you have a bond to something, that's honored by the universe. That's a real thing. In the same way that humans are magnetizing or attracting to themselves everything in their reality through what some have sold books calling it the law of attraction, which are somewhat accurate, but not really entirely. But Anyway, the point here is you're connected to that consciousness of that being, okay? And just because one of you leaves a physical incarnation before the other doesn't break that bond at all. In fact, I guarantee you that your friend, your canine friend, is closer than you might imagine. What I would suggest from personal experience, because I've been through the exact same thing, and I can tell you really care about this dog. It makes me remember one of my dogs. Same thing, female. You know, she lived her whole life as my close friend, from puppy to old. And the thing is, here's what I'll suggest that might be beneficial to you. Get yourself, do some Googling on lucid dreaming herbs. Get a dream journal and make it your intention to become a lucid dreamer. And what you'll find is it's very likely when you're lucid in a dream, she will visit you. And it will be unmistakable that it's her, okay? The energy, the feeling, the presence, you'll know, okay? Wink, wink. That's my little suggestion about that. If you'd like to not wait for the rest of your incarnation to consciously interact with her again, that is a very real possibility, okay? Not to mention other ancestors and spirit guides and all kinds of neat things, but before I scare anybody into unsubscribing, let's move on here. MJ, hey Nether, you are an essential knowledge bomb to any human being. I like that, thanks. What's your opinion on collagen protein? What is the difference between the different types of collagen supplements like beef hides, collagen peptides, bone broth? Much love, my friend. Yeah, collagen type proteins are really good for humans in this world because they tend to be lacking those amino acids more than the other ones. So a lot of people get a lot of benefits out of collagen proteins. Gelatin works really well. I prefer full-on bone broth because not only does it have gelatin in it, but it has glucosamine and chondroitin and a variety of other trace minerals. It's kind of the whole package because you're basically melting the skeleton of an animal and drinking it as a liquid in tiny particles, so it's easy for your body to build skeleton from that. As well as stomach lining, skin, hair, a lot of other connective tissues, glands that need their connective tissues upgraded so they can function better and produce better. Collagen proteins tend to have a lot of benefits for humans. As far as the different types, I'm not an expert on comparing them all. The reason I make bone broth is because, you know, like our family will get like a chicken here and there, and rather than waste the entire skeleton of it, liquefy that sumbitch. Make it into, you know, upgrading your own skeleton. If we're gonna end animals' incarnations to eat them, the least we could do is show them the respect of making use out of all of it instead of being fools and throwing away a lot of the best parts, right? And I say a prayer for the animal, you know, be blessed karmically for your sacrifice, you know, may you be, and I really mean it from my heart, like thank you, and may you be very much karmically blessed in whatever your next incarnation is, that you were willing to do this for me and my family this time around, you know, and it's a very sincere thing. Just throwing that in there for anybody who cares. Much love. Next question. But yes, one thing I'd like to reiterate, I kind of threw it in there. Collagen peptide proteins tend to make your glands produce hormones better too, as well as neurotransmitters. So there's a lot more to it than just skin and hair and joints. Hormone upgrades, you know. It has a lot of benefits on the body. Now, it doesn't mean a person has to eat those collagen peptides. There are plant-based ways to take, excuse me, I just horked down a bunch of food. There are plant-based ways to take good care of your skin as well. So if that's your ideal and that's your goal, I would have a different stack of things to use. But I was referencing answering your question. Okay, much love. Adam Honeng Kwong. Is there any harm in plastics we use daily, like keyboards, or is it just plastics that we contact our food or clothes, constantly touch our skin, that are harmful? Yeah, really, it's just the things that people rub on their skin and ingest. Even bottled water. A lot of people realize their city water is a death sentence, so they buy bottled water on the regular. And even if the water is coming from a good source, which it claims to, and some of them are faking, they're just putting city water in bottles and selling it to you, you know. Anyway, Even the ones that the water source is decent, what people don't realize is those plastic bottles are hot when the water's put in them. They just got melted out of the mold. They're just solid enough to hold water when they put the water in it. And so because they're hot, they end up absorbing a lot of the plastic into that bottled water. And you are hyper-estrogenating the shit out of your body with that. Plastic creates an estrogen effect that's like 100 times stronger than natural estrogen. So it parks in one of your estrogen receptors, and it has like 100 times more potent effect than normal body estrogen would have. So even for women, this is insane, okay? Even though a woman naturally would have higher estrogen levels than androgen levels, we're not talking about these super potent xenoestrogens that come from plastics and other contaminants in the environment. It's insane, and it short circuits your whole hormonal endocrine system in your body. But as far as touching plastic, like keyboards and stuff like that, nah, don't worry about it. It's the amount of plastic that people are ingesting that's getting to them. Much love, my friend. Next question. Whoa. Hold on. Computer just did something weird. All right. Here we go. Casanova. No matter what I do, I can't get my arms to grow past 15 inches. I've tried everything under the sun, including nucleus overload for my triceps and weighted chin-ups. It had little to no effect on my arm size, not to mention I'm a torso-dominant person. Am I doing something wrong, or is there something wrong with my arms? Not to mention my triceps look flat. Ah, that's a clue. I can relate to this. I think I'm going to be able to help you a bit. Flatter than my biceps, no matter how pumped it is. I have a positive wingspan. For the record. So you have good lats, is I think what that last line means. Probably, if you're torso dominant. So when you say your triceps are really flat, the reason that stands out to me, for decades I had presser's triceps, meaning the medial head and the outer head were pretty well developed, but I had like no long head because I didn't know that you couldn't build a long head doing only presses. So a decent width, like thickness, looking at the triceps from the back, but when you looked at me from the side, there was no long head sweep, which sucks. It really, even if your arm's kind of big, if you don't have a long head sweep, it just doesn't look impressive on the triceps, especially from the side, and especially during a biceps pose or anything like that. So what I would suggest for your triceps, look into all the best long head exercises. And you're going to have to learn mind-muscle connection. What I found was that I didn't have a good mind-muscle connection to my triceps. So decades of doing tricep exercises that everybody else does, and they think they're so good, and I was left very disappointed with my own results. So over the years, as I've learned to trust and use my mind-muscle connection, I found that the particular tricep exercises that I connect well with, they're a bit unusual. It's not really any of the standard stuff you see. What I'm saying here is when you learn to feel how hard the muscle's being targeted and which muscle's being targeted, then you can use the exercises that really work for you. Because going through the motions, I don't care if you do 40 sets of triceps, if you're not really connecting your triceps well with that exercise, you may be doing most of it with your shoulders and your core and your chest for all you know. This is why mind-muscle connection is so important. Now, you didn't say that you've done occlusion training here, so that's one thing I'd recommend doing for your arms. When you train arms, use occlusion training or blood flow restriction training. There's demos in my playlist. There's lots of discussions about it. You can Google it. There's quite a bit of demos out there about how to do occlusion or blood flow restriction training, showing you all you'll actually need is 2 light resistance bands to tie around your arms. And it takes a little practice getting the tightness just right to where it's not too tight or too loose. But once you get used to it, it's really easy. And what this does, it allows you to pump blood so hard into your arms that it stretches the cells, and it causes them to have an emergency response where they get bigger because they're sensing that if they don't get bigger, they might blow up from the pressure. Another thing it does is it starves the muscle for your oxygen. So the entire time you're doing your reps, the muscles run out of oxygen. Now it starts getting anaerobic stimulus from using light weights with high reps or moderate weights. Okay? So you're getting multiple hacks to I wouldn't say trick your arms, but to stimulate your arms into growing bigger. So that's really helped me. I'm torso dominant too, believe it or not. You know, I have well over 20-inch arms now, but that took me well over 20 years to do. And I made a lot of my good progress. I'd say I went from 19 to 20 and a half after I started doing daily arm feeders, and then later on I discovered occlusion training and started doing my daily arm feeders while occluded, straight blowing that shit up. All right? So look into all that, apply it, and down the line a little bit, give me some more feedback on where you're at, what's working, what's not, what your next questions are, okay? And we can go from there. Much love, my friend. Next question. This is Morior Invictus again. Invictus. All right. I know I'm a Mori moron for saying it like that, but anyway. Like I said, laugh it up, guys. It is all good that Nether can't pronounce things. Hey, Nether. As a novice, I made great gains on a simple 3-time full-body program. But then I started watching YouTube Fitness, and now I get bored with overanalyzing any program I do. Yep. I'll be really fired up about the program one week, but then start second guessing it the next. Yep. I almost wish I could go back to not knowing anything about training so I wouldn't do this. Any advice? Love the channel, by the way. Wish you the best. I wish you the best. Much love, my friend. Yeah, this is why I like to point out all the time that the people who like to talk and rewrite programs and theorize about programs, they're absolute nerds. None of them are built. Almost none of them are built. Maybe 1 out of 1,000 of those nerds actually goes into the gym and makes something out of it. But most of them, it's all theory and talk, and it's boring as fuck. You don't lift with your intellectual nerd mentality. You lift with your nuts. So you have to have some, well, if you're a lady, you lift with your lady nuts, okay? No offense to ladies. You have your own power. And I love the chicks that are on this channel that can hang with this kind of energy. So I just need to make that clear. I'm not trying to be an idiot here. I'm not some, sexist or genderist. Very much respect to the females on this channel. But what I'm saying is, metaphorically, you don't lift with your intellect. That's why those nerds will never have anything for a body, because all they like to do is analyze things with their mind. Well, your muscle fibers need stimulation. They don't give a shit what you analyze in your mind. So I would say, feel free to train different every day like I do, okay? Like I've said in past videos, if you find yourself fantasizing about a certain kind of workout, do it that day. I don't even care if you work the same muscles the day before, because if you'll tap into what you're aligned with, the way the stars in your mind and body are aligned that day, you'll pour so much passion into that workout, you'll get mad gains from it. Like I've said before, I don't have stupid rules. You can train your back 3, 4, 5 fucking days in a row if you want to, if that's what you're feeling. And then maybe do chest for 2 or 3 days, and then shoulders for 2 days, and arms for 2 or 3 days, and legs for 2 or 3 days. My point is, all these stupid rules and programs, all they do is keep people jerking off in their head, not making any gains. All programs have potential, but in the end, a program's a program, and ultimately, if you want to get the most bang for your buck, you need to switch programs every so often anyway. I don't care what anybody says. I know there's guys... Well, take Jason Blaha, for example. He's been doing the same shit forever, right? And look at him. Still looks like a potato with no gains. Because he's stuck. I don't care what you think, I'm applying progressive overload methods, and this year I added 5 fucking pounds to my bench press. Who cares? Your body's not even going to look different. Get excited, do some creative things, and tear some muscle up, and don't worry about all these rules and shit. And then when you notice, say you've forgotten to train your chest for 2 weeks, because I'll do that, I'll get off on my tangents, I'll follow my passion, and I'll be overlooking a certain muscle group. And maybe I pull my head out 2 weeks later and I go, I'm really overdue for chest, let's say. Just as an example. So then I'll hit chest hard for a day or two because I know I need to. And I'll go back to doing whatever the hell I feel like, When you're doing the workouts you have a passion for, you're getting gains in those areas. So get them while the getting's good. Don't force yourself to do something that's out of step for you at the moment. Align your mind, body, and spirit so you're not fighting with yourself. And silence that monkey chatter in your brain, because that's all it is. It's confused monkey chatter. That's what meditation is. It's so you can silence that bullshit and discover way better things. So forget all the monkey chatter of all the little intellectual monkeys all arguing about which theoretical program's better for building muscle, and none of them even have any muscle. The way you're going to build the most muscle is connecting with your passion, okay? You don't need to overthink everything. That's why there's these endless arguments. No, that won't build traps because it's too short of a range of motion. Oh, really? I got like 30 pounds of traps, so you can't tell me that. I don't care what any of the rules out there say. Connect with what you have a passion for, what you're seeing in your own inner fantasy world. You're going to have a badass workout. And then whichever muscle groups you happen to be overlooking, just make sure you hit them hard. You can even hit them 2 days in a row to make sure you hit them hard enough. That way you're covering your whole body, but you're not following some damn boring program. You're not applying any rules. If you're ready to be a creative trainer like this, go for it, man. And if not, just get my Nether Better Upgrade Manual. There's multiple different custom programs in there, okay? They're all entirely different, and they all entirely work. So there's something for everybody in there. And because there's multiple programs, every time your gains start to slow down on one of them, just switch to one of the other programs and keep building your whole body. Why put in all this effort for less gains when all you got to do is switch it up and keep shocking the muscles to make more gains? People get stuck in a rut in their thinking, and there's no need for it. So that's my 2 cents on that. Hopefully that helps. Much love. Andy and Alex. Hey Nether, how much should I spend on organic castor oil? Because 250 milliliters is around 12, I think that's euro, if I understand that simple right, 12 euro. And that seems a little steep. Okay, Andy and Alex, much love to you guys. I don't know. I don't know how euros even convert to dollars. I'm not up on economics and all that. And I don't know how expensive that actually is, where you're looking at it from. All I know is that a lot of health products, people will say it's too expensive. But the first time you go to the hospital to have something cut out of you, it's going to cost more money than you're ever going to be able to earn in your entire life. So to me, prevention is worth 1,000 times more than the cure, because it's much easier to prevent diseases than it is to cure them. They're curable, but you have to be real committed and really believe in it when you get yourself into that boat. It's very easy to prevent diseases. So to me, all these health products, yes, they're expensive, and yes, some companies are greedy and they're charging more than they really need to, but it's still an incredibly wise investment, because if it keeps you out of the hospital, it'll save you from your entire family fortune being taken away. Okay? And then some, while your health goes down the tubes. So that's the way I weigh things like that. I realize that there are greedy bastards in the health food and the health supplements industries. And as people are becoming aware that these products are valuable, some of those greedy bastards are going to just keep marking up the prices, because they're shit. They don't really care about making the world a better place. They just see a new market to take over and try to make profits. And that sucks ass. But as we all stand together and speak the truth like this, it does motivate certain companies to come out who actually do care about health. That's their actual priority. And their prices are only high enough that they can survive as a business, because they really care more about making the world a better place. So you can definitely look around. Sometimes even ordering a product from another country ends up being cheaper, even with shipping, than going down the road a mile and buying it from the local store. And if that's the case, go for it, you know? We live in an information age where you can get shit sent to you from the 4 corners of the earth, so why not? But I'll just say, in the end, I value health products that prevent disease. You know, they're infinitely cheaper than getting the disease, okay? Money-wise and otherwise, you know. So that's all I can really say on that. Much love, my friend. Just my 2 cents to think about. Eric Chaline, I think. How do I increase my reach or wingspan? My best guess is you need to do what the old-time bodybuilders did and expand your rib cage. So that's all I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, there's bound to be some binaurals out there now and some subliminals to help with this. Look those up. Find one you like and listen to it daily. But that's about, you know, causing your mind to agree with making a physical change. But look up the old-time bodybuilders and how they expanded their rib cage. They do certain exercises to cause this cartilage right here to thicken in the middle, which widens your shoulders, of course, which ultimately means longer reach at the tips of your wingspan as well. So that's my 2 cents, friend. Much love. The Shining Dazzle. Hey Nether, could you talk about bad and good herb supplement combinations and which herbs are bad to overdose on? For example, combining diatomaceous earth with iodine and overdosing on diatomaceous earth. Interesting question. Now, diatomaceous earth is not an herb. It's a mineral deposit. And I recommend taking it by itself because it tends to soak things up. So I wouldn't take your diatomaceous earth with your herbs and with your other nutritional supplements because it may absorb some of those supplements and you end up just shitting them out. Diatomaceous earth is a magnet for a lot of things, so take it on an empty stomach by itself and it takes everything your body doesn't like out and soaks it in. Plus, it leaves a lot of nice trace minerals like the silica that improves your connective structures in skin and hair and joints and bones and circulation and so forth. As far as bad herb combinations to overdose on, guys, when you Google an herb, you just have to read that. If there's any warnings on it, it says, if you take too much of this herb, you can, I don't know, melt your eyeballs or something. Don't do it. But most of the herbs that I recommend, like the tonic herbs that are in the Nether Better Upgrade manual, they're very safe. Could you overdose? I guess. A human can overdose on water and drown yourself. If you try to drink 10 gallons, 20 gallons of water a day, you can actually cause an overload and fill your lungs and drown to death. Are we going to say water's bad? No. It's just that if you're going to, try to stuff too much of a good thing, same with sunlight. It's your source of vitality, but obviously if you go cook in it too long, it becomes the source of being roasted to death. So there's a lot of things that are really good. The herbs that I recommend, they're not going to hurt you if you accidentally take an extra spoonful. It'll just be more good for you. The doses I give out are careful, moderate doses because I figure it's more affordable. And with these tonic herbs, what's most important is to take them over a long period of time. It's not about how much you can shove into you in one day. It's about consistently taking it over time so it continues to tune and tune and tune on your mind-body-spirit connection. Okay? There are certain detox products, not herbs, but detox products that I do not include or teach because you can overdose and kill yourself. I don't teach or include or list those because inevitably somebody would make a mistake and hurt or kill themselves. I don't even talk about those ones, guys. The things I share are safe for you to experiment and learn with on yourself, okay? That's been my experience. They improve health. Is it possible to overdose? Sure, but you'd have to really try to overdose on these healthy tonic herbs. And what would an overdose do? An overdose of Gotu Kola probably give you a lucid out-of-body experience, in my experience. I've taken half a bag of this stuff before just to see what would happen, and I had one of the most amazing astral projections and met a spirit guide and completely changed my life. It's one of the only reasons I'm even here on YouTube, from what happened from that encounter. So ashwagandha tends to make you lethargic. If you take too much, you may go to sleep. It won't damage your health. It's just, it'll put you in an altered state of mind where you probably take a nap and have, maybe some lucid dreams. Now, the Mucuna pruriens that I included in the Nether Better Upgrade manual, it increases dopamine, it increases testosterone, it lowers cortisol, it lowers prolactin, it increases growth hormone. Could you overdo it on that one? Probably. I would say stay within suggested ranges. Guys, every one of these herbs, when you buy the product, it has a suggested dosing on it. So it's not like you just have to guess, and take some random dose. You can just take what it says on the bottle and you're safe. I tend to experiment and go higher dose sometimes because I'm not afraid of herbs, because I educated myself. Now, there are dangerous herbs, there are toxic herbs, there's henbane, and there's other things out there that have certain purposes, and yet if you overdo it, you could kill yourself. But I'm not promoting any of those on this channel. Those are mostly for deep mind-altering experiences anyway. The herbs that I'm promoting on this channel are to increase your vitality of your mind and body, okay? So that your life and your goals are more easy to attain at a higher level. Hopefully that covers it. Much love. Next question. Hey, Nether, is it possible to sleep less, like 4 to 6 hours with 2 naps of 30 minutes in the rest of the day, to become more productive without any harm on your body? Much love. This question's from Hugo. Hugo Landa, if I read that right. Well, sure, it's possible. You just have to tell me how well that works for you. See, everybody's sleep cycles are a little bit different. Everybody's need for how many sleep cycles of what length is a little bit different. Despite what we've all been told, it's not the same, just like metabolism isn't the same on any two of us. So if you're feeling good, this is the thing, guys, you got to trust your own body's feedback. If it feels good to you, go for it. That's your body giving you the feedback. This is a good step. This is a good direction. If it doesn't feel right, that's your answer. It doesn't matter if it's working for somebody else. If it's not making you feel better, then it's not serving you, so drop it. It's really that simple. Try it. If it works for you, it works for you, and you can trust that. Much love, my friend. Next question. Hey, Nether, is there a specific way to train the midline of the chest? Yes. My midline of my chest has gotten so much better since the invention of the Nether chest shrug. And there's different variations of a Nether chest shrug. One of my most recent videos was showing one example of how to aim for your mid and lower chest as well as upper chest. But one thing all Nether chest shrugs have in common, if you do it right, they all very much build the depth of your inner chest in the groove, okay? I have done all kinds of heavy presses in the past and had a big dimensions to my chest as far as width and height and all that, but I didn't have much depth to the middle of my chest till I started doing the Nether chest shrug, okay? It's really helped, and it really, improves the appearance of your chest, obviously. So that's my 2 cents. Much love. Clen Jones, what are the top foods, 3 or 5 or whatever, for overall health and muscle gains in your opinion? For example, garlic, spinach, black beans, let's see here, or onions, cheddar cheese, jasmine rice, and it says blaha. Yeah, I don't eat cheese, because like I always say, I really think, yeah, I mean, you can gain size eating dairy. It's growth formula for baby cows who gain hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds really fast. But it's got estrogen, it's got a lot of weird growth hormones, it causes mucus overload, it causes disease and tumors and weird shit in a lot of people. Causes asthma and bronchitis and breathing difficulties and inflammation issues and all kinds of shit. So most people are better off without dairy. As far as top 3 to 5 foods that I like for gains, for me, my gainer, as far as just getting bigger, is always either organic peanut butter or organic tahini. To me, that works great as a gainer. It works every bit as good as dairy ever did as far as gaining size, but it doesn't give me the health destruction that came with it. Garlic is awesome because the many health benefits, the fact that it purifies your system. We live in a world where people are overloaded with yeast and bullshit like that. And garlic is pure yang fire energy. It just burns that shit out of your house. Like, get the fuck out of here. Garlic is anti-weakness. Anything that's weakening you, garlic goes to battle with it. You can't overdo it. I've eaten so much garlic that my blood vessels were almost like melting through. I could tell. And I got some warnings in another lucid dream about that you can't actually overdo it. But that's eating like 2 or 3 bulbs at one time with a meal. That's being insane. 1 bulb is great. So, and garlic ups your testosterone, lowers your catabolic hormones, and very much has a very real anabolic effect. I guess not everybody knows that yet, but, I'm not talking out my butt. You guys can Google it. It's true. Spinach is great. Spinach is high in magnesium. It even has a little bit of natural ecdysterones in it. So as vegetables go, that's a good anabolic, healthy food. Onions are great. Same as garlic. Same general principle. So, as far as similar things, ginger root. Ginger root will help you digest proteins really well, and like onions and garlic, it's a very yang energy herb, so it cleanses garbage out of your body. It increases your heat, your fiery energy. It purifies and cleanses. It improves balance and coordination. I remember somebody asking a while back how to improve physical balance. Ginger. Try ginger root. Eat it with meals. Get to where you like it. What I do, I don't get the powder because I want it to actually have the juice in it. It's more potent. So I get organic roots, the actual funny finger toe looking clumps of roots that ginger comes in. And when I'm eating a meal with protein, I'll just sit there and take bites off of that, just like I would a clove of garlic. Chew it up and swallow it. Improves your hormone profile, so it helps with sports and gains and in the gym. Improves circulation, of course, which is healthy for a lot of reasons. And it very much helps digest protein, so it's perfect to combine. Ginger has protein digesting enzymes in it, so ginger root is great to combine with any high protein meal. And it has a ton of health benefits and athletic benefits. It can even get you over motion sickness when you're flying or on a boat. Okay, and morning sickness for you pregnant women. I know there's not a lot of you guys on this channel that are pregnant women, but sooner or later, and many of you are, involved with a pregnant woman or something, or will be. So that's something to know. Rather than man-made toxic drugs, you can use ginger root to make morning sickness go away. It very much helps with nausea and imbalance and things like that. So I'd throw that in there. What else? As far as super growth foods. I don't have any more because, like I say, my bulker and my go-to is organic peanut butter, organic tahini. That's it. I keep it that simple because it works. It works well for me, so I haven't had to mess with it. Not everybody digests those things well or can eat as much as I can, so I'm not saying that's exactly relevant to everybody. If you consume animal products, it's hard to go wrong with eggs as far as just a nutrient-dense food with a lot of things to grow on. So, yeah, I guess that's my 2 cents. Moving on. Much love. Next question. The Unknown says, "Hey, Nether, I got a couple questions. One, if my goal is to build a strong and muscular lower back, what would you recommend I do? Any alternative?" Oh, and then 2, any alternate effective upper chest exercise to the Nether Shrug? Thank you to my favorite YouTuber. Well, thanks, man. That's an honor. It really is a great honor, because there's a lot of really cool YouTubers. I mean, there's some really exceptional ones in the fitness industry too. So anyway, I'm honored. Thank you. So your first question, strong lower back. Well, now this is not my focus, so there's probably better people to ask. But if my goal is to make a stronger lower back, I definitely could. I'm always really good at making any particular part of me stronger if I aim for that. So what I would do, I do a combination, okay? Different types of deadlift-like activities. One day, I would do below the knee rack pulls as heavy as possible. Another day, I would do like Romanian or stiff-legged deadlifts. And another day, I would do deficit deadlifts because, at least the way my body's shaped, the hardest part for the lower back is the lowest point in the lift. So by going on deficits, you're strengthening that ability to come up out of the hole, to get started on the lift. To me, that's pretty key. For accessories, obviously, you can do reverse extensions or, reverse hypers, whatever the hell you call it. You can do those till the cows come home as an accessory work after your heavy lifts if you want. What else? Jeffersons are really good because when you get good at a Jefferson lift, you can really control with your body posture which muscles that's hitting the hardest. And because it hits one side at a time harder than the other, I'll bring this up again. I don't know if I explain it well, but the way the math works, if you pick up 500 pounds on a Jefferson lift, 300 pounds or more can be on one leg and one side of your back. So if you lean into it right and aim for your lower back, you can be getting the equivalent of a 600-pound lift on that side of your lower back. Then switch footings and hit it the other direction with an even amount of reps. And again, even though your nervous system's only being forced to lift 500 pounds, the muscles on that side are getting hit with the equivalent of 600. So it's kind of a special ability to get more bang for your buck, So I'd work with all those, and I wouldn't overcomplicate it. I just think between going as heavy as you can on below the knee rack pulls on one of your lower back training days, and on a different lower back training day, make sure you do deficits, so you can improve your ability to get started lifting out of the hole, and work with variations of heavy Jefferson lifts and learn how your body posture can very much control how hard you're hitting your lats, how hard you're hitting your lower back, how hard you're hitting your glutes, how hard you're hitting your hams, how hard you're hitting your quads. You can very much aim and alter how much you're hitting any of those things on a Jefferson more than any other deadlift related type lift, okay? So it's excellent for mind, muscle, body coordinated improvements, and it's excellent for gaining mass and strength because you can target exactly where you want the lift to mostly focus on any given set or on any given rep. In fact, you can go partway through, like I've done this. I've done a Jefferson squat, let's say, until my legs were getting fatigued, and then started not going down as far as my legs and leaning over farther and turn it more into a Jefferson deadlift and get extra reps that way. Okay. Ultimately, it extends the set because I was doing it mostly squat dominant halfway through the set. When that fatigued, I started doing it mostly deadlift dominant. Just by shifting the emphasis of which muscles are doing it, you can get a bunch of extra reps. It's really the most versatile, customizable lift out of the deadlift types as far as what you can do with it. But that really requires a lot of mind-muscle connection and understanding. But everybody should aim to develop that. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents. Much love. Next question. Hey, my friend, is there any natural product that doesn't allow my girl to get pregnant? I mean, taking pills to not have babies doesn't look healthy for me. Yeah, and it's not healthy for her either. Birth control pills are terrible for women's health. Yeah, this is a difficult challenge because there's not any there's not any ideal way to deal with this that I'm aware of right now on planet Earth. Now I can tell you one hack, but it's not 100%. As a guy, if you sit in a very hot sauna with your nuts every day, not even a sauna, hot water is even better, like a bathtub with as hot a water as you can stand, assuming it's not toxic city water. I wouldn't advise anybody to soak that up for any reason. But the heat, the whole reason your balls hang away from your body is so they're not at as high a temperature as your body, because if they are, your sperm count starts going down. So when you take that to an extreme and you sit in as hot a water as you can stand every day, it really goes down. You can get your sperm count so low it's pretty much undetectable. But again, it's not 100%. There'll still be a few of them that survive that. So this would drastically reduce your odds of impregnating her. If you like the sound of that, if you like the sound of having way better odds, and from my experience, there's no permanent damage. And also remember, just because it's lowering sperm count does not mean it's lowering testosterone. Those are two different things. Don't get it confused. In fact, the studies show that guys who get fixed, like I've done, you get your tubes cut and tied off and burnt shut or whatever. Generally, most of them, their testosterone goes up a little bit after that. And especially DHT levels tend to go up. Even though over time you'll eventually get to where you're not producing any sperm anymore because your body realizes it's trapped and it can't go anywhere anyway. But your hormone levels go up. So just understand, guys, those are two different things. And if you will put your sack in some kind of real heat every day, it'll knock out 99% of your sperm levels. Just so you know. Like I just said several times, it's not 100% for sure, but it'll drastically improve your odds. That's something to look into. But I'm not the expert on this. There may be some natural combination of herbs out there that can make a man or a woman temporarily sterile without harming them, but I don't know about it. Okay? I'm not up on that if there is. So if anybody has any good info about this, ways of birth control that don't do any harm to anybody's health, please post them here. That would be really valuable. Thank you. Much love. Next question. Michael. Hi, my friend. Is there any natural product? Oh, that was you, Michael. Next question. Tom Frey Productions. Watching your older videos, you seem a lot more chilled out now. Why is that? Well, I suppose in general, as I continue on my path of integrating mind, body, and spirit, and continually improving my consciousness, you're seeing that I'm becoming more grounded, more stable, more harmonized in the different layers of myself. You're seeing progress. You're seeing my personal progress. Now, that doesn't mean that I can't go all nuclear temperamental. I can. Don't ever put me on a pedestal and think I'm some airy-fairy, walks-on-water nice guy all the time. I still have crazy-ass monkey emotions that come with being in a human form, and that shit can get really volatile. But you're just seeing a pattern of improvement because I am becoming healthier in my mind, body, and spirit. And really that's because I've taken up purposes in my life that come from the higher me, the real me. I'm doing things in my incarnation now that bring a lot more satisfaction to who and what I really am, and this is causing me to become healthier. Also, what you give, you receive. So the fact that I'm giving people means to heal themselves and upgrade their health, and many people are experiencing like massive miracles, a lot of that's coming back to me because that's how it works. We're all connected at some level, so what you're giving to somebody else, you're also receiving it if you're open to it. And at this point, I am open finally for the first time in my life to actually receiving some of what I give to others. So I'm feeling the effects of that, and my well-being, health, and all of that. My consciousness is improving, mind, body, and spirit. And we're all in this together. That's what I'm sharing the best I can with the rest of you too. Okay? Much love, my friend. Cool question. Moving on. Adam Honeng Kwong. I like your name, man. Yo, Nether. Could I eat a tofu dish and drink soy milk in the same meal, seeing as they are both made of soybeans? Or would there be any reason that would be a bad combination? Keep up the good work, brother. Well, thank you. I will, Adam. I'm not an expert on soy products, but as far as food combinations goes, yeah, that should be fine, since they're both made out of exactly the same thing. One version of it's liquefied, the other one's solid. Ultimately, they're both going to be liquefied as your body breaks them down. So, yeah, as far as I can tell, makes perfect sense. It's really the same thing in two different forms, so you should be able to combine that. Much love. Next question. Yo. Oh. MD the MC. Best bang for your buck exercise for both grip strength and forearm hypertrophy. Grips. Well, see, for me, in my experience, I would not use the same exercise as my best on both of those. For grip strength, to me, it's the simplest thing in the world. You know, you can use either a trap bar for this, which ultimately you'll be able to hold more weight in your grip because of the angle you're holding it at, or you can use a standard bar. Just do a rack pull or a block pull, shortest range of motion possible if we're only training grip here, and hold it as long as you can until it falls out of your grip. That's how you strengthen your grip, plain and simple. I know a bunch of people out there are going to have a bunch of complicated 20-step programs to strengthen grip. Again, that's that monkey chatter nerd shit getting out of control. Just do what, get right to the point. That's how I made my grip go from slipping on 600 pounds to being able to hold 1,000 pounds. Okay? And I did that all in 1 year, averaging 2 to 3 times per month. I would pick up a heavy block pull and just hold it, even if it was only for a couple seconds. That's it. And I would do that maybe, if it was only a couple seconds, I might do 4 or 5 sets or reps like that. And I would do it, like I said, an average of 2 to 3 times a month. And that's it. And I made massive gains in my grip strength. However, I did not make massive gains in forearm size doing that. It's simply they worked better. What I've noticed for getting more forearm size, I like one-handed pull-ups the way I do them, because it kind of involves like a forearm curl at the same time. That builds this inner side quite a bit, pretty nicely. And then as far as the top side, you got to do your hammers, you got to do your reverse curl type movements, and you can just do direct forearm work, okay? That's really good for getting all these striations and things popping up on the top side of the forearm. For me, those are what I've used. I have never put a lot of effort into direct forearm training, though, to be honest. In fact, it's been, 15 years probably and since I did direct forearm training as part of my programming. Because I figured out as long as I can keep my grip strength up where I need it to be, and over time everything on me is getting bigger and stronger, my forearms are making gains too. They have to keep up with everything else. But they're not maxed out. They're not, I haven't tried to pop out my forearms or anything. I just keep, in my case, I'm happy if they're strong enough they don't limit me on other things. So that's my 2 cents. Much love. Next question. Yo, Nether, I found out about... Oh, yeah, I answered that one by keyboard, but let me just answer it for everybody. It's pretty relevant. Yo, Nether, I found out about some harmful shit and some specific foods after I ate it, and I'm wondering if there's anything I can do or eat or drink to get it out of my system. Thanks very much. And in my response, I recommended the Nether Better Upgrade Manual because in it, I've included my personal best body cleansing detox methods, as well as all the nutritional stacks and supplements and herbs and things that complement it. It's a big multifaceted thing where it's all tied together and all benefits each other. But I included my best favorite personal The manual's all about what I do, you know, because I can never explain that all to answer a question. It's all tied together in that manual. Now, as far as just if you want to try just one or two things really quick, what I like the best for getting nasty things out of my stomach when I've eaten something that's hurting me, activated charcoal. It works really well. Diatomaceous earth also works, and bentonite clay. Any of those three things will go through your gut lining and soak up yucky shit and take it out the other end, okay? They all do it in slightly a different way, but they're all very effective, so you can Google all those and see which one you'd like to try. If you just want to try one thing. This goes for anybody that wants to just use one product to do some detoxing, pull some nasties out of your body's gut lining. It can be food poisoning, it can be bacteria, it can be fungus, it can be heavy metals, it can be pesticides, it can be hormone residues, it can be parasites, it can be viral, it can be any kind of nasty shit. Radiation, those products all pull radiation out of the body from the inside as well. They magnetize it. And you're living on a radioactive planet where some asshole monkey crazy fuckers have detonated over 2,600 known nuclear weapons, and that shit's bouncing around in our atmosphere. So we're all more radioactive than we should be. So these kind of products, that's another of the many reasons they're included in the Nether Better Upgrade Manual as something to implement into a normal part of your lifestyle. Much love. Moving on. Thoughts on shadowboxing. How important is it to visualize an opponent? Some people swear by it. Some people don't think it's that important. I'd say it's not essential. It's how much it means to you. If you get into it, it's great, you know, because in some ways, if you're actually picturing the combos and you're able to get in that and be landing those combos on an opponent, that's helpful. It's preparing your mind to do that more quickly and instinctively and expect that and see that in a fight. So it can be helpful, like mental programming and just movement, thinking patterns of movement and combos. But if you don't connect with it and you just feel like you're just, you know, punching the air like a weirdo, it's probably not that good. I'm not that big on shadowboxing personally. I like to have people to box with. I find it difficult to find the value in beating up a piece of air that can't fight back. But that's just me. Some people get a lot out of shadowboxing. It's an individual thing, so assess it for yourself, you know, and decide for yourself if you think it's valuable in your training. It's not essential, but it can be useful. Much love. Next question. Shades MN. Nether, this is hard for me to share, but I really look up to you and trust your wisdom and advice, and I figured it can't hurt to reach out to you about this. I've been dealing with eating disorders and depression for many months now, and it seems to be a never-ending cycle of pain that I can't get out of. I'll do well for a while, but I can fall off very quickly and end up spiraling downward into hopelessness. I know I'm not giving you much details here, but any advice would be appreciated. Thanks. I'm going to do something I rarely do on this channel. I'm going to give you a bit of an intuitive reading here. This has a lot to do with your male side and your relationship or lack of a good relationship with whoever's the father figure in your life. If any of that strikes a chord with you, hit me up on my other channel. I'd like to share the idea of the process of cutting the ties energetically. It's a shamanic process that can free you karmically from a lot of baggage that's really not your own, so you can heal these things in yourself. Before this sounds any more confusing or weird, I'm going to leave it at that. If that clicks with you, my friend, hit me up, all right? Much love. All right. This is Hildebrand Spencer. Awesome. Love your channel and love your name. Hildebrand. I was saying it to myself earlier today. What a cool fucking name. Hildebrand. Good day, Nether. I've been testing out the waters of coffee enemas, no pun intended, for a couple weeks now, and the results have been favorable. Something I've noticed is that I have become much more caffeine sensitive in the process. Yeah. I used to drink a couple cups of coffee before working out, but lately 1 cup and I'm wired. Yeah. The good kind of wired, yes. Just wondering if you or any others have experienced similar effects. Thanks. And it says read more. P.S. An additional thought. Am I more sensitive because my insides are much cleaner and able to actually absorb the things I'm consuming? Much love. Much love to you too, brother. It's part of all that, but the main thing is, when you take it in the enema, it processes different in your body. I'm sure you've noticed you get more the euphoria side of what's in coffee rather than the agitated side. So you've already got a lot of that. It's like a base in your blood, and then when you drink a little coffee, it amplifies off that. It's like 1 + 1 = 4. So you are noticing something real there, of course, and I know you know that. And your additional thought, yeah, that's accurate too. As our gut lining gets cleaned, and it's amazing, even young people are finding how much rust and caked shit they have blocking their whole gut lining when they start doing this. But that's why I won't stop. My health just keeps getting better since I started doing this every day. And as a note to throw in for all of you who have got the Nether Better Upgrade Manual, I didn't include in there instructions on how often to do coffee enemas because it's up to you. Some people do it once a month. Some people do it once a year. Some people do it once a week. I do it once a day. There's people that are addicts that, that's all they do all day. So you've got every extreme out there. So I just left it up to your own devices. Even doing such a thing once or twice a year has benefits. Now, personally, I'd recommend doing a lot more often than that. But you don't have to do it every day like me if that's not convenient or if you just don't want to. It's just something where that's the reason I'm throwing out there for those of you that have the manual. That's why I didn't tell you in the manual how often to do them. It's very much up to you, okay? But yes, as your gut lining gets cleaner, you absorb every nutrient better. This is another reason your health gets better. You start getting those micronutrients actually in your cells where you belong instead of starving for them. You get your proteins, you get everything better because you're taking the rust off the wall so you can actually absorb things. And not to mention the massive detox it causes in the liver. And your liver's the chemical processing plant for your whole body. It's doing thousands and thousands of chemical processes every moment. And it's very overwhelmed and backlogged on all its work because of the toxic world we live in. And these coffee enemas, it's like bringing in an advanced team that just catches up on all that work and just gets everybody into massive better production so the liver can finally catch up at some point to where it should be on detoxing, on assimilating, on reconstructing nutrients into other things. It's very involved in your anabolic processes, your fat burning processes. All of this improves with a cleaner liver. So this is one of the many reasons, again, why I would include something that's been known to it's mainly become known in the world for curing all these incurable diseases, but you can also just use it as a performance hack for life to have a way better mind and body and to prevent those diseases. Because as I mentioned earlier, it's many times easier to prevent serious diseases than it is to cure them when you have them. And when you look around in a society where now over 50% of people have cancer in their lifetime, how are we doing on the war against cancer, humans? Obviously, we're doing it backwards. It's insanity. That's just one of the big killers. And now the statistics say over half of you are going to have cancer in your life. However, if everybody applies the things in the Nether Better Upgrade Manual, the people on this channel, that won't be the case at all. That's normal society statistics, okay? And if you don't want to be a statistic, you can't. All you got to do is not live the lifestyle that's handed out that makes everybody one of those statistics. You have to live a different lifestyle that makes you a whole different kind of statistic. And you guys are an exceptional crowd on this channel, and that's who you are. I believe it. And this can change the whole world just by you being an example of the fact you don't have to be a statistic with all these diseases. Oh, there's nothing you can do about it. It's just genetic. Bullshit! This is a cause and effect reality, and we're creating our own scenarios. If people don't want to own that, fine, they'll just be a statistic. But I'm super inspired by a lot of you guys on here that get it, and you're ready to step up and take control of your own lives and your own health and improve upon it. And the more you do that, the more you find you can. It's just this hidden thing that people are distracted away from their whole life. So you don't own your own body, you don't own your own mind, you don't own anything. But fuck all that. Anyway, I love you guys. Awesome question. Check out Hildebrand's channel, guys. It's one of the ones I got linked above. It's awesome. Much love. Next question. I have it linked in the information box. Subscribe to all those channels, guys. Awesome. Shades MN. Hey, Nether, I have an emergency situation. Oh, shit, bro. And you posted this a day ago. I hope it wasn't a super urgent one. I was doing a back workout today in a different gym that has mirrors where you can see yourself. Excuse me. Yeah, I know. Disturbing, right? Such poor manners. Anyway, I was doing a back workout today in a gym that has mirrors where you can see yourself from the back. And after I was almost done training, back was super pumped up, I saw the abomination. My left trap and upper back are literally a mountain higher than my right side. Wow. It's ridiculous. It literally looked like my left trap had cancer compared to the right one. I did nether rows, Yates rows, and dumbbell rows on both sides, and it felt the same in terms of mind-muscle connection, so I have no idea what's going on. I kind of knew about this imbalance before because when not pumped, my left trap sits a little higher than my right, but when it's pumped, it's ridiculous. It looks like I have some disease. Please help. I don't know how to fix this. Hey, Shades, I have a theory. Did you carry like a backpack or something on one side as a habit, like going to school? Because here's what I noticed. Back when I was in grade school, a million years ago, I always carried my school bag on the left side, and it was kind of heavy with all the books I had in it. So then one day, I think I was in 7th or 8th grade, some crew comes into our school to do scoliosis checks on everybody. And I didn't have anything like scoliosis, but they said, man, you were really crooked, like one side's way higher than the other. And they said, do you always carry your bag on the same side? And I said, yeah. And they said, well, you might want to switch that up because you're creating a really serious muscle imbalance. And I was. My posture was like this. One trap was way bigger than the other. So I switched it up then for an even number of years, and I kind of balanced myself back out. But like Megan explains on Team 3D Alpha, anybody who's done a lot of repetitive anything at some point in their life with a certain muscle, basically that was nucleus overload training, and now you have more nucleus cells in that muscle. So if you always carried a bag or did anything one-sided, a lot of repetition in your life, that's probably what's going on here. You have way more nucleus cells in that side. So even doing the same workout, and this is a perfect example, guys, of what I'm saying when I tell you that doing phases of nucleus overload upgrades your genetics. You now have better genetics. You can grow more muscles in those same areas. So you're seeing that on your one back. Something in your developmental years caused you to have more nucleids, nucleotides, who fucking cares, whatever they're called, on your left side, okay? So to balance it out, you're going to have to compensate. What you might want to do, keep doing your workouts like you did, but at the end, throw on a good 4 high-rep sets on your left side, okay? Pick something that targets those muscles and put in a good 4 high-rep sets. You need some, I mean on your right side, whichever's the lagging side. Put on your 4 extra sets at the end of the workout. That's what I do to correct imbalances. You can do more. You can do 8 extra sets if you want, but 4 is adequate because you're adding in volume and reps over time, which is going to increase the genetics on that side, okay, to eventually catch it up. So try that for a while and see if you're noticing that it's balancing out. And then report back and let me know where you're at, if we need to reassess and, add something else in. Much love, man. Don't worry, it's correctable. I know it's crazy how imbalanced we can get just doing simple things. I knew a guy that ran a scraper. And the way those machines work, when you sit in the cab, you're twisted one way all the time. So he was like this for hours a day for months. And he got to where his back was killing him. He couldn't do deadlifts and squats. And he kept injuring himself and pulling things on one side. Because even though it's a low weight, hardly any weight, just from being in a certain posture all the time, the muscles got really imbalanced in his core and his back. It doesn't take much, to throw your shit off like that. So this is a scenario where you just need to rebalance the genetics. And my suggestion is extra volume at the end of the workout for the lagging side. Okay? Work with that for a while and let me know how it's going, my friend. Much love. Will you ever do a collab with Alex? You could both try out some methods and report results or something. Also, you'll be getting the manual very soon. Great work on the vids. Thanks, man. Appreciation. Yeah, I'd imagine so. I don't think it's any rush or any race. I mean, Alex's channel is big and mine's little right now. And I intend to be around, So, I would definitely suspect at some point there will be something like that. Absolutely. I could be trying to get that. I could be like, hey, Alex, let's do a collab to try to build my channel more right now. But the way I see it, it's really no better or worse whether we had a collab soon or a year from now and my channel's quite a bit bigger. Either way is going to have certain pluses and minuses. So the thing is, I have very much respect for Alex and his time. If he comes up with an idea that would be a cool collab of any kind, I'll be game, absolutely. But I believe, we're going to be on good terms. So I just don't see, I'm not pushing the issue. I just don't see any need to or any reason to. Because in the meantime, I'm building some content on this channel. And really, the more content I have built up on this channel by the time that happens, assuming it does, that's better. Because then the people that will come over here and look, they'll have that many more videos and that much more content to look at. So that's the reason I don't feel any sense of urgency or any sense of, hey Alex, interview me, Alex. He can do that anytime he wants, and of course I'll be there. But either way, I intend to stay on good terms with Alex. I mean, even if somebody tried, got in his ear and somehow convinced him that I'm a piece of crap, I would never say anything bad about Alex. I have that much respect for him. So I just don't see any worries here. I think he's a great guy. He's always supportive of me. He's just a class act, in every way. That's why I could never imagine why anybody would be dumb enough to criticize his channel. I mean, what are you doing? What is there to criticize? You're just being a fool. So anyway, yeah, I highly suspect that'll happen. And whenever it does, it'll be great. Sooner or later. So cool question. Much love. Hey, Nether. I recently stumbled over an old video. Oh, this is Tarek J. I recently stumbled over an old video of yours about castor oil. I further informed myself about external and internal use, and I think I will get it for external use and give it a try. I saw people use it internally for so-called liver flushes, and they got rid of parasites and intestinal worms, yes, which these people made responsible for all types of diseases. What do you think this is? What do you think of this? Have you any experience with internal use? Thank you for your time and knowledge. Much love. Much love to you, Tarek, or Tariq, or however you pronounce your name. Yes, I have experience taking it internally. It is a great cleanser. If you do so, start out slowly. Start with like a teaspoon, because it can be a potent detox. It can make you really nauseous if you have a lot that it's going to start detoxing. So start with a small dose, like a teaspoon. If you tolerate that, fine. Go to 2 teaspoons. And what I do is always take that dose on an empty stomach. I recently did a phase for maybe probably 2 months where I took it every morning on an empty stomach. And I worked up to where I was taking about a full tablespoon. And it definitely had some good, strong cleansing effects on me, yes. Now, something else in your paragraph here that I'd like to address. When people say that those parasites are responsible for all the disorders they have, that's a backwards understanding people have. And this is neither here nor there, but I'm just putting it out there for those who are interested in kind of seeing the picture a little more clearly. The parasites that people have are only in them because their body was already in a state where it provided the right environment for trash eaters to come in and start living off all the trash. If the body wasn't already in the state of being a toxic dump, the parasites wouldn't have anything to live on. So when people blame the worms and say, oh, these worms cause all my disorders, that's not true. You created all your disorders, and then the worms move in to eat excess junk out of your body because the environment's so nasty that parasites can breed in it. Believe it or not, I'm not saying that parasites have all nice effects on people. They don't. They cause you to crave sugar. They cause you to eat junk food and things that weakens your body so they can grow more. But in a sense, they are a part of... How to explain this? Everything in nature serves a purpose. So when you have parasites in your body eating junk, it's because you have too much junk in your body. That's why they're there. So a deep cleanse, yes, it'll clean out the parasites, but the real goal is to clean out the toxicity that your body has been made from and polluted with for so long, because otherwise the parasites are just going to come right back. Humans have no idea how many parasite eggs are on many of the things they eat, and it's always been that way, and it always will be. But you will only get infested by them if the environment in your body is right for that. And it's very, very common. The estimation is that something like 95% of people have parasites in them. I know a lot of people don't want to face that or believe it because these suckers can live in you without you ever even noticing it. That's part of how they operate. That's the only reason it works, you know. They can't disturb the host too much. But if you go down that path far enough to where all your energy is being eaten by parasites, eventually it is a very big problem. But just understand the parasites didn't come and victimize you. The parasites are only there because there was already a toxic dump of shit inside your body for them to be eating. They're doing you a favor in a sense. It's just that as they grow out of control and start causing you to crave more junk food, they do wake. If you have a weak will and you give into their cravings, your will and your body gets weaker and weaker over time, and their numbers and their will get stronger and stronger until you're eating all bullshit and junk food and candy, and candida is growing out of control, and your whole organism is so weak they can just, you know, they can just thrive. It's planet worm at that point. So, so anyway, yes, castor oil. Make sure you get the hexane-free kind. If you're going to use it for internal use, but it's a very strong cleanser. Just beware, it's very strong. Start out with a small dose so you can see how you can handle it. You don't want to get so nauseous you want to die and go through 8 hours of violent puking, because if it's that bad, you probably won't ever do it again. So you want to start out small and build up the dose as you're able to see what you can, how much detox you can comfortably handle at one time, okay? Much love. Next question. Tobacco's effects on gains. The way I understand it, tobacco in and of itself, it's a little bit of a vasoconstrictor. But the thing is, if you were using just tobacco off the land, I don't think it would hinder your gains enough to ever mean anything. This is another one of those illusions. Like what they call salt is not salt. It's refined sodium and it kills you. What they call tobacco has 4,000 man-made chemicals added to those cigarettes, guys. It's not the tobacco that's addicting you and killing you. It's all the other shit. I hate to be this guy that just gets a fucking bullseye put on his face every day by the goddamn big institutions of this world, but that's the truth. Tobacco's just an herb from the land and it has medicinal benefits. But when men add 4,000 fucking chemicals to it, now you're killing yourself. So whatever people are blaming on tobacco that comes from cigarettes, for example, tobacco's just being used as a scapegoat for man-made bullshit. Just so you know. Got that off my chest. Yeah. Okay. Next question. Dolan. How do you build calves? Seriously. Go check out my calf training at home video. Now granted, my calves are pretty puny in that video because that's me starting my calf training about 2 decades or more late. Because I realized if you're going to run a fitness channel and you have toothpick calves, you're always going to hear about that. So I'm finally training my calves. They are growing. It is working. Check out that video. You can get them brutally sore in a short amount of time, and you can do it right at home on your own, okay, and get serious gains. Also check out Sam Ernil as far as calf gains. He's gained like an inch on his calves in a short amount of time doing it the way he's doing it, okay? So that's incredible. Reference Sam Ernil. Hit him up about calf gains. He's a very awesome guy. He'll be willing to give you some pointers. He's linked in the description box as well, guys. Much love. Next question. How do muscle subliminals work for you? Well, I haven't been using like one that just says build muscles, but I've been using one that says, it's called horse testosterone. It's all about boosting your testosterone, and it works. Yeah, that works for me. It boosts my test, which obviously helps with muscle growth and everything. So yes, there are lots of binaurals and subliminals out there that work if you're open to it working. If you doubt strongly in your own mind, it's not going to work because your mind is the builder. Ultimately, it's your mind that makes the changes. The subliminals are making suggestions to your mind that if it's willing to accept those suggestions, and I'm talking at a deep level, even subconsciously, then you see very real physical changes. So this is the reason why some people say, oh, those don't work. Well, that's your truth then. For you, it won't. And other people swear by it. Holy shit, I can't believe how well it works, because they don't have any resistance to it, so it is working. So it's an individual thing. But yes, there are subliminals that very much work, and it's all about your mind accepting what the suggestion is, rather than fighting with it. Another question by Dallin, probably saying that wrong, but much love and respect anyway. How do I learn things in school faster? There's a variety of strategies on how to learn things faster. I would say that the alpha mind body neurotransmitter hormone stack in my Nether Better Upgrade manual would really help with that. It puts your mind in such a, literally your brain chemistry as well as your mind, which is an energy field that's a lot bigger than your brain, but it puts all of it in a lot better state, a lot more what I call an alpha state, where you have confidence and clarity. It's easier to process and know what to do with information faster. If you wanted to try just one or two herbs for possibly better mental, what's really the right word here? Mental harmony, mental access. Gotu Kola and ashwagandha are both known to be good that way, so you can try them. Sometimes they help you calm and focus your mind where you're not distracted by that crazy monkey chatter that's distracting everybody in their brain all the time. Those herbs can help with a more meditative, focused mindset, and you can take in and process information better that way. Much love. Cool question. Casanova. I have watched your videos on adaptogenic herbs. Wah! How relevant. Could you please explain in detail on the right dosage and how often should you take it to get the best results? Well, there's a lot of them. Also, whether or not if people of all age groups can take the herbs you mentioned despite their health complications, if any. Now, the medical institution loves to teach fear of herbs, so they'll tell you, no, it's dangerous. Take this toxic drug which is guaranteed to wreck your kidneys and liver over time. No, the truth is, tonic herbs, and adaptogen is just a new age word for tonic. Tonic herbs all throughout history, anyone who took them their entire life was a lot more intelligent and healthy than those who didn't. Period. Now, as far as dosages on adaptogenic herbs, just read what's on the packaging, and go from there. And feel free to experiment a little higher and lower. They're not like man-made drugs that eat your liver and kidneys. Not the ones I'm sharing on this channel. Like I said, there are toxic herbs, guys, but I don't go willy-nilly just throwing out the names of toxic herbs that people could hurt themselves on. These tonic herbs, they adjust your body according to what you need, and it's different on each person. Think about the intelligence of what's in an adaptogen, guys. It goes through every system of your body and adjusts it whichever way is more beneficial, meaning it has a completely different effect on each person because each person needs something entirely different. You're talking about an intelligence here that is so far ahead of apparently even what man is capable of recognizing or even wants to, but not you guys. I know you hear what I'm saying. Take advantage of this. And just know you're going to see all kinds of threats as you go along from the medical institution about how damaging and scary herbs are and how you should trust their completely toxic shit. They will demonize the medical and I'm not saying all doctors or everybody who works in it. I'm talking the ones that have more money than they have intelligence. They will demonize, or character, or anything else for that matter. They will demonize anything that has the potential to heal you of your diseases because they don't want you touching it. That costs them a lot of fucking money, okay? They already have more money than they could ever shake their fist at, so it's ridiculous that that's the only thing they can think about, like some big fat tick full of blood that's going to suck it till it explodes. But before I get off on that rant, no hate to any blind, unconscious being that's hoarding money and knowledge and screwing over their fellow humans. You're going to have to face your own karma anyway. You don't need hate from me. Good luck in your next incarnation. Moving forward, much love. Are dried goji berries as good as goji berries that are not dried? Ounce for ounce, the fresher, right off the vine, is going to be a little bit superior. But don't kid yourself, dried goji berries have a ton of potent, useful medicine in them. They're very, very good for you in either state, okay? But if we're having a contest here, the fresh berries right off the vine are going to be slightly richer in nutrients. Of course. Much love. Next question. Casanova, in one of your Q&As, you said weight training won't stunt growth or inhibit a person from being taller. But if the cells of your body is listening to you and responding to everything you do, wouldn't lifting weights send your body signal to get bigger and stronger instead of taller? After all, your body can only focus on so many things at once. So wouldn't it be stressful for your body to grow taller and get stronger and muscular at the same time? Look, man, your entire youth you're getting taller and stronger and more muscular at the same time. Would you like to accentuate that? Would you like to make your formative years give you a bigger head start genetically on how strong you can be? Why would your body stop growing taller? That's like saying your body's going to forget to breathe at night because you're dreaming. Your body's doing millions and billions of processes every moment. It's not going to forget to get taller because you're lifting weights, man. No, that's just a silly fear. And I know it comes from stupid-ass belief systems out there, which originate in people who hate weightlifters talking shit. Oh, you're a bunch of dumb meatheads. What you're doing stupid. You're idiots. You're dumb. You're stupid, and that's why you lift weights. You're going to stunt your growth. Blah, blah, fuckity, blah. It's just naysayer cunts that spread rumors like that. Look at the world's strongmen, guys. Most of them are 6.5 feet or taller, and they were lifting as heavy as shit as they could from the time they were 10. If anything, it just made their skeleton develop further. So, no, you're not stunting your growth. It's just fear-based bullshit from assholes that want you to not lift weights because it makes them feel smaller. That's where ideas like that got started. And it's ridiculous because a person should not feel smaller just because they don't lift weights. They don't need to hate on somebody who's doing something to improve their body. But anyway, Planet of the Apes, that's what you get, all this madness. No, your body's not stupid. Your body's doing billions of things every moment, and it's not going to forget to grow taller because you lift weights. If anything, I highly suspect you'll grow more taller. People that played a lot of basketball on a hard surface and bang their knees a lot, they generally grow taller than people who don't get all that impact on their bones. This has been shown. It's stimulation, man. You're in your growing years, your body's pumping out growth factors that make bones grow. Why don't you stimulate the bone matrix with impact to make it grow even more? Okay, that's more logical to see it that way. And furthermore, you may be focusing your mind on growing bigger, stronger muscles. That has nothing to do with making the automatic parts of your higher mind forget to make you grow taller. You don't have to worry that by having one thought, you're somehow throwing every natural process that your body's doing from a higher level off the rails. It doesn't work that way, okay? Just make sure you get lots of good micronutrients so that all your hard workouts are not depleting you of some of the nutrients you need for your bones to grow. I don't know if you have it yet, but in the Nether Better manual, there's a nutritional stack in there that's superb for the skeleton. Like I've said many times, guys, my tendons and ligaments used to be what held me back, and now I can do shit I can't even believe, and it doesn't even challenge them, okay? And I'm twice as old as I was back when they were, not able to keep up with what I was doing. And I lift at least twice as heavy now, too. So think about that. Think about that, baby. Much love. Next question. Casanova. Is there any way to do weighted stretching for abs and triceps? I know gymnastics have the best way to stretch the biceps, but I found little to no resources to stretch your abs and triceps like a gymnast would stretch his biceps. Now, I don't know about abs. I could invent something to stretch the abs, but doing eccentrics on my abs is the very last thing I would ever do because you're literally asking to make the biggest, thickest, blockiest abs. And I know some of you guys, that's your goal, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I'll give you an idea if I can come up with them. Now, as far as tricep stretch overload, it's not as hard as you think, man. My recent video, Tiger Triceps Training, that I was doing on the edge of the couch, do that on a barbell instead, and get your feet braced to where you can push yourself under that barbell and push your head forward until you're stretching on your triceps so hard they feel like they're going to tear off the bone. Pump them up, and then stretch them like that with force using your feet. So if here's the bar, I have go to my workouts playlist, and the second, third, or fourth workout on that is called 20 supersets of biceps triceps. Watch the tricep move I'm doing on the barbell. You can stretch overload the fuck out of your triceps with that. Pump them up, and then shove under there and use your legs to push as hard as you want to stretch overload them, okay? Now, as far as ab stretch overload, what I would do is put a heavy-ass weight on my back and start out sort of arched like a cat with your back up. You know, when cats do that, and they kind of stretch and arch their back. Start with a weight there, heavy weight that you can barely resist, and then slowly lower it down until you're in more of a plank position. You can be on your knees and elbows for all I care, as long as it's heavy enough that it's stretching the fuck out of your abs and overloading them. And go through a slow negative where you resist that all the way down, like a heavy-ass weighted plank where you start in a more arched position. And what you're doing that whole time is you're stretch overloading your bicep or your abs, right? Because they're contracted as hard as they can, and yet the fibers are being lengthened. So that's eccentric, yeah, eccentric stretch overload on the fibers right there. Anything simple like that will work, my friend. Once you understand what it is you're trying to do, you're trying to have a fiber contracted and then getting stretched longer at the same time. It really is that simple. So I've never done stretch overload on my abs, but if you look at some of my weighted push-up videos on my Smith machine, what you could do is scoot that table farther forward and put the Smith bar right in the middle of your back, and start out by, you know, lifting it up to the top of the range of motion, and then just go through the ultimate slow negative, fighting with your abs, okay? Like a weighted push-up where a person's standing in the middle of your back instead of on your shoulders, okay? That's a stretch overload for abs. If you really want the biggest, thickest tummy muscles in the world, there you go. Much love. Next question. Max Titus. Any exercises to overload the triceps in a similar way to rack pulls above the knee overload the back and traps? Yes. The first video on my nether exercises demonstration playlist, I believe, is called the Nether Dip Press. Go check it out. It's exactly what you're looking for there. Much love. Next question. King Me. Hey Nether, I have tricep tendonitis. Wait a minute. Did we resolve that already? Okay. Well, somebody did. Somebody got the Nether Better Upgrade package. And as you guys know, I only put that out like a week ago. And he says his tricep tendonitis is already completely gone and it's a total miracle. And that's not surprising at all to me. Like I said, your entire skeleton is going to be twice the integrity it has now if you'll do the things in that manual. Now, I'm surprised that it completely healed that so fast. But then again, I shouldn't be surprised. Like I said, a lot of miraculous things are going to happen if people apply everything in that manual. So your question is, you have tricep tendonitis, so the tendon at the bony part of the elbow in the back, yeah. I've completely stopped pressing because it aggravates the pain. Even now your triceps are hurting. Do you know how to make the ligaments stronger and heal? Nether Better Upgrade manual. I don't know of anything else in the world that's going to come even close for upgrading tendons and connective tissues as well as what I've designed there through 20 plus years of trial and error and experience and research. You've done band pushdowns for the reps and it still hurts. Yeah, it's bad if you can't even do band pushdowns. You need a skeletal upgrade, my friend. I know they're not inflamed in the bad way. Yes, they are. That's why it hurts. Okay? They are inflamed. They're degenerating. If you're able to look at the tip of that tendon right now, it would have all types of little frays and splits where little tiny hair fibers are starting to break loose on it. It is inflamed. That's anytime there's pain, there's inflammation. I fast too long and too well for them to be. Well, yes, fasting reduces inflammation, yeah. But when you've already got severe inflammation in a certain place, it's not like it automatically just goes away just because you're fasting now. The thing is, you got an overuse injury, and until your nutritional levels are way up on all the things that your skeleton needs, I mean, how long do you want to wait a year before you can do another tricep workout? It's up to you, but I'd get the Nether Better Upgrade manual, start applying everything right now, especially the nutritional stacks. There's one in there that, among other things, is designed specifically for your entire skeletal and connective tissue structure. So you can have Superman grade ape tendons like me. I used to have all kinds of tendon pains and arthritic shit holding me back. I used to have really bad tendonitis in the elbows. In fact, anytime I used to do one-handed chin-ups, even at a lighter weight than I am now, I would get elbow tendonitis on the inner tendons. And now I don't get any of that from anything. I can press and pull twice as much as I ever did with no pain. And it's all because of the shit in that manual, guys. I'm not joking. It's miraculous. And my only fear is that, because I sell it for $50, people vastly underestimate the power of what's in there. But I want it to be affordable to fucking anybody, not just rich people should be able to have good tendons and brains and hormones and detox and longevity and health and mental clarity. Nothing against rich people, but I think everybody should. So I made the manual really cheap. Don't underestimate it, guys. It's miraculous. I wouldn't believe in it so much. I wouldn't, why would I share everything that's helped me so much and not believe in it? It's incredible. But I don't want to sound like I'm just tooting my own horn. And yet I don't want to understate it either. But that's what I would definitely suggest, man. There comes a point when there's no therapeutic exercise that's going to make up for the fact that your body just does not have the nutrients it needs to strengthen something that's been torn up. Wishful thinking in therapy still doesn't create physical matter in and of itself. At this point, you're still going to need some much better nutrients to do that, okay? So that's my answer. Much love. Ted Sire, what degrees do you have? Well, a long time ago I had a degree in welding, and that was a complete waste of time because I was a better welder before I even went to that school. I don't have formal education. I have thousands of hours of my own research. And from what I've experienced, it's put me miles ahead of doctors. I mean, I've been standing in public gyms in the past and been lecturing about certain things to people that ask me. And it turns out some of the people in the crowds were doctors who were just silently listening to me and learning. And then they picked my brain later because they were blown away. And I even told them, this stuff's in your books. It's just that you weren't, in your education, you weren't shown this. You weren't told that this was part of what you had to research. Go look it up. I've read all the studies and put it together. When they go through medical school, there's like 5 minutes spent on nutrition like it's totally fucking irrelevant. And they spend the rest of their time learning about drugs and bullshit. I've put thousands of hours into how you actually regenerate and heal things, not give it a drug so the person can go away and quit complaining for a while they continue to erode their health. That's all that's being done in modern pharmacopoeia or whatever the hell you want to call it. Again, no offense to all the doctors. No offense to any individual out there. Just painting the big picture for what it is. So I'm not going to go into debt for some degree that's basically dumbed down brainwashing that sucks ass compared to what I can do myself. Now, granted, degrees are good when you need certain doors open to you and you have to have the stupid, piece of paper to do that. But there's all kinds of people with degrees who suck at what they have degrees in because they have no natural calling at it. But I'm one of those crazy, fruity people that connects to higher consciousness and sees things in an entirely different way. So hopefully that makes sense, my friend. Much love. I was also an ACE certified personal trainer for a while. That was easy. I just had to learn the terms they were going to use on the test and go past some tests so I could say I'm certified, and I did that for a while, but I got out of that because, like I said before, people's bodies are so sickly in modern society that they would tear tendons off doing the most basic exercises I've ever seen. And these people really liked me, so they didn't try to blame it on me, but I just felt sick to my stomach and I didn't want anything to do with it anymore. When I realized that the general public's body has the integrity of a rotten zombie, I don't want to be a personal trainer and watch people rip shit off doing basic exercises. I don't consider that progress. Not to mention that no matter how hard any of these people trained, they'd go home and eat spaghetti and drink beer, and they never got any leaner or anything, because as a personal trainer, I don't get to be with you 24 hours a day and control what you eat and shit, so it's all a joke. The way I saw it, it's just the personal trainer game to me was basically people who want to put the responsibility of their workout on somebody else. That's fine, but that's all it is. Because I don't get to implement a full lifestyle that supports their goals, nobody ever got to their goals. And it wasn't because they didn't work out hard enough. It was because they undermined it with their diet and the rest of their lifestyle. To me, that's just wasting time getting paid for something that's going nowhere. So I completely lost interest in that and just went my own way and did other things. There may be a few other types of degrees I've had that I can't remember right now, but nothing that you have to go into debt for, nothing that you have to go get enslaved into some system for. So anyway, much love. Next question. What's your opinion on eating only carbs for the first half of the day and only meat for the second half? For the most part, my kids naturally eat this way. Their health and body composition seem much better than most people, and they have lots of energy. Much love to you, brother. You too, Eric. Eric Salinas. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Because basically, if they're eating carb foods that are like good food sources, like vegetable based, all that combines well together. You can eat all that and digest it and get all those micronutrients and all those important things. And then in the later half of the day, if they're eating all their heavy protein fat foods, then they can digest that right and get the best out of it. So, yeah, that's really good. That's miles and miles and miles and miles better than this backwards, upside down, idiotic idea that somehow modern society got, that you're supposed to try to shove all the different food groups together into each meal, which is completely asinine and destroys health. And it's just a false, idiotic assumption. So I think that's great, man. That's really cool that your kids are in that pattern. Very cool. Much love. Monkey Athletics. Do you know how to play chess? If so, are you any good? Yeah, I play. It's been a long time since I played much. I had an English teacher in high school I really liked, the same guy that I got into bodybuilding with, who I really... He's the person I first got into serious bodybuilding with, and we also played chess together. We did a lot of creative writing in his class, and I was a natural at it, so I would always have my creative writing assignments done way before the rest of the class. They'd say, write a creative story, and I'd just go, and the other kids are all sitting there tapping their pencil for, 15 minutes trying to think of something, and I'm done. So then me and him would play chess while the rest of the class tried to write their creative story, So I got decent in high school. I was one of the best in my class. Not good by any means, but good enough to have fun playing, yes. Cool question, man. Much love. Hey, Nether, I have at my disposal... Who's this from here? Quasar! That's a cool name. Hey, Nether, I have at my disposal all organic vegetables in large quantities, but rarely I have a full combination of veggies to take all my macros of the day. That sounds kind of contradictory. It's a problem if I eat a lot of organic veggies, even if... Oh, that's a question. Is it a problem if I eat a lot of organic veggies, even if that vitamin in the day, it's not maxed? Okay. Like I said, I don't have any degrees, but let me try to translate this. In a week, I would have 0 deficiencies, but I could have some in a... Oh, I see what you're saying. No, you don't need to worry about that at all, man. Your body is an incredibly efficient thing. The only reason you're here is because your ancestors were tough. They went through spells where they didn't eat anything for weeks. So if you're getting all your micronutrients maxed out in the course of a week by rotating through different organic vegetables, you're doing fucking great, man. Don't worry about that at all. That works. You don't have to eat every nutrient every day. Most nutrients are not something that just depletes right out of your body. Your body uses it like a resource in an intelligent way. So if you're eating a good variety of vegetables throughout the week, you're doing great, man. No worries, okay? Much love. Next question. Andy and Alex. Hey, Nether, what do you think about doing occlusion training when doing nucleus overload? Do you think it would have any benefit? Much love. Well, yes, guys. That's why I do it on my arms. I went from doing normal arm feeders every day, aka thank you, Rich Piana. By the way, I like Rich Piana. I will honor his memory. I'm not going to hate on him just because he used all the juice in the world. The guy was very upright about it. I totally respect that. And I don't agree with all his training philosophies, but I did learn some cool shit from him, especially when it comes to arms. So anyway, I did my normal arm feeders for like 2 years. And then I discovered occlusion training, and ever since then I've been doing occlusion training feeders on my arms every day. And as you've seen in recent videos, I got the biggest fucking natty arms I'm aware of. So, and like I said, that was challenging for me. Arms were, I wouldn't say they were a weakness, but I'm more torso dominant with very long arms. So it's taken a long time and a lot of custom efforts and a lot of extra efforts to get my arms up to where they're really big like the rest of my upper body. But that has very much helped. Yes, occlusion, blood flow restriction takes your nucleus overload training to a whole higher level. It's like nucleus overload plus cell stretching plus oxygen deprivation and extra growth factors all put together. Okay, it's awesome. Good thinking, man. Good thinking, guys. Much love. Christos TVable. The last question of the Q&A 10 was exactly what I needed to hear about. It was gold. Well, thanks, man. Much love. More needed to be said on this topic. I had been in the same problem, but if I only hanged out with people that respect me and the way I look and my ideas and theories and stuff, which that would be you guys and Nether, then I wouldn't had any friends in real life. And I still have that problem where it's either stay lonely or be with people that disrespect me and my ideas and the way I look make them feel bad. So they have to attack me for that. And many of my friends accuse me for steroids and bully me, that they think I'm a bad guy. And I don't care anymore if you guys don't believe that I live in Greece and you can say whatever you want. Well, dude, I definitely believe you live in Greece. If I move to a better place... Oh, I see what you're saying. If I move to a better place like you live in Canada, USA or something, I know it's going to be better. The people there will at least be better than here. Maybe, depending on where in Canada or the US. You know, every neighborhood's different. But, you know, quite possibly. And if that's a goal for you, man, that'd be a great adventure. Absolutely. Follow your heart. Move to a new place. I'm not discouraging you. I live in a village, actually, and talked about it with Nether before. Right, we have. There isn't any like-minded individuals here, and if I open any of my theories to many things, people will think I'm crazy and think like that. And my friends also are non-lifters. None of them. And not at all educated on many things, and are people that if you make them step out of their comfort zone, that's when they attack you. Yeah, the world's got a lot of that everywhere. That's just small-mindedness, narrow-mindedness, and fear. Like, I've tried to get them to do even the most simple sort related stuff, and it turned out bad, trust me. They only like playing video games and watching porn together and eat like crap and stuff. But what choices do I have? It's either going to be them or staying lonely. It's not fun, and that's the main problem for me. Yeah. Well, that's kind of the thing about being an old soul, or being someone who's a little ahead of the curve. As the old saying goes, a prophet's never recognized at home. So, you know, when you're more conscious than the people you're around, it oftentimes isn't fun. But focus on your own personal growth, and you can get to a point where you're having tremendous fun, and it's not dependent on other people anymore. And then it'll be easy for other people to get in on that fun, because you're generating so much of it that's the game to play. It's basically where you have to go ahead now and just continue growing within your own consciousness further, because you're not going to backslide into being unconscious. You've seen too much. It's not going to happen. So work on your own journey, your sense of well-being, your meditation, your ability to silence all that monkey chatter that drives us insane. And you will get to a point, I'm not saying how fast or how slow, your process is your own, but you'll get to a point where you are generating a sense of fun by being who you really are. And that sense of fun does not require anybody else to participate. However, they will. Because it's natural. When you become a beacon for that energy, you're now a magnet for that. The people around you are believe it or not, and I believe you're mature enough to understand and hear this, the people around you are reflecting doubts that you still have within you. It's not about them like you think it is. It's still about you. Yes, those people are not conscious, and they don't want to be, and it's not about them. So if you say the people around you, let's see, how's this worded? They think you're crazy. There's a big part of you that's still worried that you're crazy, okay? That's why you get that feedback from the environment. You know, look at me, for example. The things I say on here, there's a lot of people that if they said any of the things I say, that's all they would hear. That it would just be pages and pages of threads, people telling them they're fucking crazy. And I get hardly any of that, because I've gotten to a point myself where internally I don't struggle with that fear anymore. I've seen and experienced way too much to buy into the idea that I'm crazy. I've been able to do miraculous things that people say are impossible. So if that's crazy, then crazy is a good thing. What I'm getting at here is that this is all about your personal journey. And your personal journey may very well take you to another part of the world. If you're feeling called to go somewhere else, I would make it a goal and do it. That's an expansive experience. And in the meantime, you can be working on your own inner changes to your own consciousness so that when you arrive in that new world, it really will be a new life for you. You really will be vibrating at a whole different frequency within yourself. So the kind of people and circumstances and adventures that you attract to yourself will be different. So that's my 2 cents on that. You know, looking at it the best I can from your shoes, from where I'm at here. Hopefully that helps, my friend. Much love to you. Blobble, what do you do when you get a headache? I'm not a very headache-prone person. Sometimes it's dehydration. I just need to drink water. I'll tell you what triggers headaches with me. Too much arginine or too many vasodilating herbs. If I take too many vasodilators, like even a good one like ginkgo biloba, the vessels in my head get so expanded that they're just pushing on nerves, and it'll give me kind of a dull, annoying headache. I've had silent migraines, the kind where you go semi-blind with this weird visual disturbance, but I don't even get the pain in the head. But those came from head injuries. I'm not migraine prone at all. I haven't had one for quite some time now. Let me think, though, because, okay, coffee enemas. I can tell you that I know people personally who have been prone to bad headaches their whole life, and coffee enemas are one of the best ways they can relieve it. Here's something for you guys that I don't know if I've shared before. I think I have. But as far as my research indicates, the first known place where coffee enemas were known in our known history was the German Nazi soldiers. And they used them to reduce pain. Because obviously when you're a soldier, your eardrums are blown up, you've got barbed wire holes through you everywhere, fucking bullet holes and shit. A lot of pain, and you still have to just keep fighting till you die. So what they would do is they'd do coffee enemas between battles because the euphoric chemical change in their body drastically reduces pain. So you can go out there and fight some more. And it's effective for a lot of people on headaches too. So that's definitely something you can try. Now, if you're not open to coffee enemas, let's see. Off the top of my head, I don't know any other ideas because I haven't had to struggle with a lot of headaches in life. So you could Google it. You could Google natural herbs to reduce headaches and just get you organic herbs because you can't go wrong. Organic herbs that are going to reduce headaches are going to have other health benefits, you know. So that's my 2 thoughts on that. Much love, my friend. That, and make sure you're not dehydrated, you know. Drink some water. If your headache goes away when you drink more water, you know you have a tendency to be dehydrated. I have that. Since where I live now is a much more drier place than where I grew up, I had no idea when I moved here how much dry air takes water out of your body. And I got in a situation where I thought I had kidney disease. This was back in my early 20s. My kidneys were hurting so bad I thought I was dying from some disease. And I couldn't figure out what it was, and it just went on, and I got so sick I finally went to a doctor to get diagnosed to figure out what the hell was wrong with me. And she did all her tests and said, "You don't have any infections. I think you're severely dehydrated." So she hooks me up on an IV bag and pumps some IV bags into me, and I go from having kidneys that were hurting so bad for weeks I thought I was going to die to feeling perfect. And that was a very important lesson to me because I didn't even feel thirsty. It turns out that where I live now sucks more water out of me than what I have any instinct to drink. So I have to remind myself, like one of my rituals or things that I aim to do each day is when I first get up, I drink like 2 or 3 big, huge glasses of water to start hydrating immediately, you know, get a jump start on getting hydrated for that day. So that's a speech about water. Hopefully that helps and it's related. Much love. How to strengthen wrists. This is Amani. How to strengthen wrists to keep a stable grip with barbell in palms and knuckles towards ceiling for presses. Okay, how to strengthen wrists to keep a stable grip. Okay, so you're feeling wrist strain on presses, I guess. I remember feeling a little of that. Long time ago when I did that static contraction training, part of it would involve like lifting off a bench press in your strongest range of motion and just holding it for say 10 seconds or whatever you can. So I would do like holds with like 700 pounds, and this is clear back when I was like early 20s. And I remember my wrists were an issue. They were actually getting bent back so hard they were getting sore, as well as the fact that I would bruise nerves and stuff in my hands. So I've learned to pad my hands when I'm pressing heavy so it doesn't distract me. I'm a little bit bony and I got some nerves in my palms. But as far as the wrists, they got stronger from it over time, from being kind of hyperextended. Now when you say stable, I'm wondering if you're actually like wobbling with the bar and threatening to drop it on yourself. I hope not. Make sure your safety pins and safety bars are set whenever you're doing presses. You can do straight up wrist work, you know, reverse wrist curls. Hang your wrists off a bench, strengthen them that way. Make sure you strengthen them sideways too. Do curls this way and even this way. You want to strengthen the side tendons too and everything. Punching things really hard enough to actually sort of jam your wrists, that made mine bigger and stronger over time. If you want to go crazy and make your wrist measurements bigger, like I did, I added over a half an inch to my wrist measurements by putting them in a bench vise and wrapping them really thick with like like boxing wraps, something you could wrap around here to pad it, even a shirt. And then I would squeeze with that bench vise until I just couldn't take it, and I was hearing little tiny micro crunches in the wrist, and then I let it go. And I do the other side, and I did that like twice a month for like 6 months. And all those microfractures to all the cartilage in the whole wrist area caused my wrist to just slowly grow bigger. And now they're more than a half inch bigger than they used to be, and they're definitely more stable. I don't feel strain from anything I press. I don't jam them punching shit like I used to. So those are some ideas. But most people aren't going to do the bench vise thing. It's kind of painful, scary. Most people don't even have a bench vise. But just doing direct wrist work, curls, and remember you have 4 directions on your wrist. This way, this way, this way, and this way. And you want to strengthen them all 4 directions, okay? That should help. Strengthening these tendons and strengthen all the muscles that are connected to them will give you a lot more stability in controlling those wrists, okay? Much love, my friend. Next question. Can one build great legs through lunging variations alone with weights, of course? Absolutely, man. I suggest doing them uphill and downhill. If you can go outdoors, uphill really builds your glutes and hammies more. Downhill really builds your quads more. It's just way superior to doing it on flat ground, period. So if you wanted to have like a quad focused day, you'd want to do all your... What I do on once in a while when I shock my legs with lunges, I just do one big set. I just take my weights and put them on me, and I'll pick whether I'm doing an uphill or a downhill based on which muscles I want to hit harder, and I will just go out there and do lunges until I can't, and that's it, and that's my lunge training. And man, do I get sore. You want to build your ass and hammies, do it uphill. You want to build your quads, do it downhill. Furthermore, it's a very effective athletic move. The kind of balance and coordination and functional ability it creates in your legs is awesome. So yeah, you can totally do that. Much love. Next question. What survivalist expert shows do you recommend? I remember on your old channel, this is from Blobble. What's up, Blobble? What's up, brother? What survival expert shows do you recommend? I remember on your old channel you mentioned a survival expert that showed you how to actually survive, unlike others who do cool things for show. Yeah, Cody Lundin, and he got kicked off because he would not do the things that the producers... Some woman from the inner city was producing the show, had fuck all understanding of survival, and she was trying to require him to do showy bullshit on the show that would get people fucking killed if they actually listened to that advice. He is a real survival expert. He is someone who's calculated mathematically your best ways to survive. So if you guys want to see a survival expert that I actually respect, unlike the vast majority of show-off dipshits that just want attention and has fuck all to do with actual survival, Cody Lundin, CODYLUNDIN. He's an eccentric character, a lot like myself. You know, some people get turned off by the fact that he's just different and they don't listen to him. It's their fucking loss because he's a real survivalist. You could get stranded with him anywhere and your odds of survival would be 1,000 times better than with anybody else. So that's who I would recommend. Very much so. Extremely intelligent person, a lot more than you may realize. So just listen to him. Try not to get hung up on any of his eccentricities or whatever of personality, and just try to get the information on how to survive, because it's fucking key. He does not compromise. He gives you the best methods to actually survive, not some shit that seems cool on a survival show, and I very much respect that integrity. And of course, the systems that be can't tolerate it because they're completely full of shit. So of course he got canned, and now they have the fakest fucking survival assholes ever out there showing people how to get themselves fucking killed if they ever get stranded in the wild. Much love. Cool question. Next question. Please, Clen Jones, please talk more about diatomaceous earth. I've tried it for about a week and I find my dry skin is much better. Hell yeah, man. Yeah, a lot of people notice that smoother, more hydrated skin. How does it work? Details. What benefits does it have for health? Well, I don't know everything about it because it's got a lot of trace minerals and it's doing more than I even know. But some of the things I do know, when you take in that really good form of silica, the same thing you're noticing on your skin, check this out, man. It's doing it in your veins and your arteries too. It's making them much smoother so your blood flows easier. People's cholesterol and blood pressure improves, their circulation improves. Obviously hair and skin improves, joints, tendons, bones, they all benefit a lot from silica. Think about this in your bones. If you have a higher percentage of silica in your bones, on impact they will flex like a leaf spring under a truck without snapping. Whereas if your bones are made just from like calcium and the more brittle minerals, once you go past their impact to the point where they would bend, they just shatter instead because they can't bend. They have no flexibility. Silica makes you a fucking badass. So improves circulation, improves your skeleton, improves your appearance, improves certain gland functions because some of our glands need a lot of silica to build up their structures so they can produce hormones and neurotransmitters and shit like that better. So that's happening. And then the detox and the stomach healing effects. In a society where everybody's gut tract is like a time bomb trying to kill them, diatomaceous earth is wonderful. It kills and magnetizes all that nasty shit, man. Everything that ain't right for us. The radiation, the parasites, the yeast, the mold, the fungus, the virals that never completely left your body. The plastics, the carcinogens, the pesticides, and a million other things I don't even know the name for that society's all infused with. It magnetizes everything that doesn't belong in us, and it leaves us a bunch of awesome minerals on its way through. It's super easy to take, as I'm sure you've noticed by now, and it just, as a heavy lifter, one of the things, of course, that I loved about it was it's one of the main things that I started noticing my tendons were no longer an issue, no matter how fucking heavy of an object I picked up. And that didn't happen until after I was taking the diatomaceous earth. So we could all use more silica to be at our best. I'm fully convinced of that. Not to mention it has all the right trace minerals to work with that silica. And it's one of the best detoxers on the planet, which in this world, the math on that just means you're extending your life. And you're not just adding years to your life, you're adding a lot of life to your years, which is probably even more important. So, what else can I think of? Anything else? People that are really into hair growth, some of them, a lot of women. I know we don't have many on this channel yet, but some of you guys are growing your hair out and stuff. So you'll appreciate this. Hair and nails, some people say they grow 2 or 3 times as fast. Now me, I notice my nails grow faster, my hair grows a little faster. It's not like 2 or 3 times, but some people it does, which tells you that's how much they needed silica, All of us get benefits. It's super affordable. It's super good for you. Takes radiation out of the body, which I'm always going on about for good reason. People don't realize what a radioactive mess we're in right now and will be for probably millions of years now thanks to all the shit they've blown up. So anything that's getting radiation out of your body is a good friend too. And I'm sure there's a lot more. You can Google it. There's entire forums out there just dedicated to all the health benefits and cures and different cool benefits that people are experiencing from it if you're into that. And if anybody wants to link more here on this thread, that's cool too. Much love. Next question. Dan Day. How can you go about getting healthier looking eyes? My eyes are red a lot of the time, presumably because I'm dehydrated. Other than hydrating myself, what types of supplements would you recommend to get whiter, vibrant, youthful looking eyes? Much love. Let me read that slower so people can hear it. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. It says, other than hydrating myself, what types of supplements would you recommend for getting whiter, vibrant, youthful looking eyes? Much love. Awesome question, because I'm sure a lot of people care. My wife's been on a long journey with this, and as I've watched her massive success, I can tell you it is very much related to your liver, okay? All those big bloodshot... Well, why do you think after a drinking binge, this is one of the reasons you'll have more bloodshot eyes? Liver. The situation in your liver shows in your eyes. When it gets bad enough, you even get a yellow tint to the whites of your eyes, you know? And if you have that, don't be scared. I've seen plenty of people with that improve it. But that's the beginnings of jaundice. And right before jaundice, you just have a lot of bloodshot veins in your eyes all the time. It's all about liver health, so I'm going to highly recommend the Nether Better Upgrade Manual. And if you were going to use only one thing out of that manual, coffee enemas. Learn about coffee enemas. If you think $50 is too much to spend for a complete life upgrade that's full of miracles, just do the coffee enemas. But if you want the full deal and you want full-on upgrades to all your health and well-being that'll affect your eyes and everything else, I recommend the manual, definitely. But yes, believe it or not, the redness in the eyes has to do with deep cleansing in the body. That's what's actually needed. Cool. Next question. Another one by Dan Day. Thoughts on weighted behind the neck pull-ups for back thickness, not just width. I'm 17. Wow, far out, man. I'm 17 and I recently went from a 41 chest to a 44-inch chest, emphasizing variations of weighted pull-ups along with weighted dips. Badass, dude. I feel behind the neck pull-ups are underrated mass builder. Yes, they are. But they hurt some people, and that's why a lot of people sort of just steer away from it and don't teach it. But if you can do them, they are awesome. They do build the mid traps, the lower traps, rhomboids, like you're saying, yes. And rear delts. Yep. They're superior to rows for those areas. On some of us, I would say so, yeah. I'm not overly impressed with standard rows. I like the Yates rows, but I had to invent nether rows because I think most rows are not... They're not doing what they're intended to do nearly as well as they should. So I'd kind of agree with you here. If you can do behind the back pull-ups, it is underrated as far as how it hits all those muscles. It's really incredible because you have to contract everything back so far in order to keep your head far enough that you're contracting back really hard, squeezing back like a row, and pulling down at the same time. It's impressive. And so I would throw it out there to people. Experiment with it, go light, be careful, make sure your shoulders can handle it without getting an irritated rotator cuff. And if you can, it's a fucking awesome exercise, yes. You're saying it's crazy, especially when you hold it at the top for a few seconds? Yeah, that is one hell of a contraction. I think what you're realizing and getting at here is that's a better contraction for all those muscles than any of the standard rows people do. Because rows are dividing it with the core and the arms and all this other shit. And what you're doing here is causing a more direct contraction on those muscles. Yep. Much love, man. Awesome feedback. I totally agree. For those whose shoulders are okay with that angle, it's a wonderful exercise. Another question by Dan. What are your thoughts on weighted dips as a primary chest builder? I think it's fucking great, dude. Between weighted dips and nether chest shrugs for upper and inner chest, I think you can have one of the most complete chests ever without doing your basic bro spits. That's what I'm going to call it, bro spits. Without doing your basic bro spits of bench press and flies, I think with these two exercises, weighted dips and nether chest shrugs, better chest. I get sore in my upper chest even though it's not... Oh, that's good. Then you probably can build your whole chest just with these. I've heard of that. Some people, like Jay Cutler, will say when you contract your chest, you contract your whole chest and there's no way around it. Now, I think different chests are different. I think my chest is different than his. As you guys can see on that thickness check posing video I did the other day, you can see my upper chest completely separating itself and flexing separately from my lower chest. So maybe I'm just fucking weird, but I have two chests. So for me, I need the nether shrugs to complete my chest, to complete the inner depth as well as the whole upper half of the chest. But weighted dips will build the middle and the lower chest abs better than bench press, because ultimately I can end up pressing more on a weighted dip. I've done a weighted dip with a total of 630 something pounds. The heaviest bench press I ever did was 500. Now I could have gone further than that with it, but I wouldn't have been at no 630 something. I can weighted dip more than I can bench. And I think that's probably true of most people, just like most people can decline bench more than they can flat bench. And therefore, like Dorian Yates would tell you, it's a better chest builder than the flat bench. Same principle applies here. I totally agree with what you're thinking. I can relate to it. Now you say, I think the bench is highly overrated for mass and strength since I'm able to bench more than all of my friends who actually do the bench. Yeah. Yet all I do is high volume weighted dips for my chest without any bench work. Also, my bench increases about 10 pounds each week from this. Far out, man. It increases about 10 pounds each week from this method once I retest the lift. Yeah, far out. I'd say dips are highly superior to bench if you do them without injury. Yeah. There will be certain people that dips just don't suit their physiology. They hurt their shoulders or something, and in that case, use something else. You don't have to do weighted dips. You could do decline bench. You can do regular bench and get quite a bit of chest mass. But for those who connect well with weighted dips, like myself and yourself, I like it better. Definitely. I think you can build more mass with it. You can and I can, so I'd imagine a lot of people could. Very cool, man. Much love. Moving on. Have you read the Bible? If so, what's your opinion? Yeah, I've read the Bible multiple times. When I was a teenager, and then a little more in my early 20s, I read it a few more times, I think. Actually, parts of it I only read once, but parts of it I reread a lot. My opinion, the Bible is this amazing mixture of higher truths and corrupt lies. And that's probably true of any religious book, any text that's been in the hands of men, being passed all over the planet, retranslated and rewritten. And you got to understand that I believe it was Nero and his wife, some Roman emperor or some ass clown like that, who they didn't like the teaching of reincarnation because it took away from the illusion that they were some kind of higher species than all the people they were ruling over. So Nero's wife made some law and had every reference to reincarnation taken out of the Bible, which right there, because that was tied into so many verses, it took a whole hell of a lot of everything Jesus talked about out of the Bible, as well as many others. And they're not the only ones to edit it. There's been other corrupt leaders who just took out anything in there that sounded empowering to the people. There's a reason you can only find 1 or 2 verses left in the Bible where it says, "Ye are gods, and some of you will work greater miracles than I." Jesus said that to the people. And yet we have some twisted, different version of it now where he's the only son of God and you're all pieces of shit and blah, blah. Listen, there's still some pearls of higher truth in there, but there's a hell of a lot of corruption written into it by men. And let's not kid ourselves, okay? We have brains to reason with for a reason. We know that's true. So if you can glean from your intuition in your heart, if you can glean the higher truths without being infected by the poisons, that's pretty awesome. Some people can't do that. Some people become very poisoned by certain things in their religion, and the next thing you know, they think they're torturing people for God, etc. And don't think Christianity's above that just because it's easy to point across the pond and say, look at those crazy religious savages. Christianity was doing the exact same thing 5 minutes ago. So let's not kid ourselves. Religion is a very dangerous thing in the hands of monkey people who are still caught in basically a caveman level of understanding of reality, and everything gets real superstitious and hateful and fear-based real fast. So I think it's an amazing mixture of higher truths and dangerous lies, like all religious books. And it's really on the individual what they're going to get out of it. Like I've said before, and when you look through a religious book, what you get out of it will tell you more about yourself in your current state than it'll tell you about anything else. So, hopefully that's enough. I don't want this to sound like Sunday school for impatient meatheads. Let's get on with it. Much love. Baccio Dennis. Much love. Much respect, brother, even though I can't read your name. Maybe I got it right. Hello, Nether Beast. I got a question for you. My AST and ALT liver enzymes are very high compared to what they should be. I went to a lot of doctors, stayed in the hospital a couple months, and they checked me for all kinds of diseases, but they found nothing. The only way to lower is when I quit working out for months, but that's obviously not an option. I am training with weights 4 to 5 times per week and running nearly every day. I feel completely fine, but as I need to pass a stupid medical test for the police academy, and I can't quit working out before the test because we also have a physical test, right? I've been studying for it for the last 2 years, and now some doctor is going to say that I can't be accepted because of this. Ever since I was 7 years old and overweight, those enzymes were higher than they should be. 4 to 5 times higher. Holy balls, dude. In my family, there's a lot of cases of cirrhosis, but they all come from drinking, which I don't do very often. Any tips for lowering them before the test? I have 2 to 3 months before the examination. Thanks, and I really want to hear your answer. I'm fed up with taking all those pills and blood tests. Well, I'll tell you something right now, my friend. If you're taking pills that come from a doctor, that's one of the reasons right there your enzymes are high. Those are liver toxic pills. Every medicine they make at the doctor has to tear through your liver to get in your body. It's the same thing that oral anabolic steroids do to destroy people's livers. It's the exact same thing. It's funny how you got a lot of young guys go, oh, don't take steroids, they're liver toxic. But take what your doctor says, which is even more liver toxic in many cases. And it's doing the same exact thing to your liver. So if you're taking any man-made meds, those assholes, I'm sure they didn't tell you that, did they? That those elevate your liver enzymes. So here's my advice. I'll give you the low-grade option. Coffee enemas and desiccated liver. Do coffee enemas and take desiccated liver every day between now and your test, and this should help you very much. The desiccated liver has, I believe it's called P450. It's an enzyme in it which catalyzes all kinds of detox reactions in your liver. And when you eat that energy in a concentrated form like desiccated liver, it helps your liver do all that work that it's falling behind on. So that'll help you with that, with those numbers. The coffee enemas are the best liver cleanse and regenerator in the world, if you're open to it. Now that's the quick fix method. You could do those 2 things and and if you can get off any goddamn man-made meds between now and then, you're going to have a much better chance of passing your test. That shit is tearing up your liver. So those 3 things right there would help you very much pass that test. Now, ideally in the long run, since you're coming from a family who is genetically weak in the liver, and that's what's going on here, don't kid yourself, guys. When you're born from parents who abuse the shit out of your liver, you're not starting out with the best liver. When you're born from an entire society that abuses the hell out of their digestive tract, you're not being born with the best digestive tract. We're not all being handed good genetics at birth. I wasn't even healthy enough to live at birth. And a lot of you aren't far off from that, okay? So in order to miraculously regenerate all that, we have to really be proactive here. So again, all the things in my Nether Better Upgrade Manual will upgrade your liver and all your digestive and eliminative organs over time. I would suggest that for your long-term plan. And I'd suggest the 3 tips I gave you now as a quick way to do something within the next 2 months to pass that test, okay? But ideally, this is something where your liver is so key to your health that in your case, and really everybody in a modern toxic society, but especially for you, designing your lifestyle to be supportive of your liver is key for your whole life, man. Eventually, you can have one of the strongest livers around, okay? I'm not pulling that out of my ass, guys. A lot of the things that I was born with that were too weak to even live, now my system there is stronger than everybody else around me because that was my goal from the time I was a kid, real vitality. I know what it's like to be sick and feeble and fucking weak, and it's not even worth living that way to me. So my whole life has been about this. So or this is one of the big themes. So that's my suggestion as far as a quick way to start doing something right now to give you your best chance of passing that test. Don't take any man-made meds if you can do it without them. Do the desiccated liver. Look for as high a quality desiccated liver without any other ingredients as possible. And don't be afraid to take big doses of it every day between now and then. It was the old school bodybuilder's favorite bodybuilding supplement anyway. It gives you tremendous endurance, just so you know. So you're going to like the way it makes you feel if you do this. And the coffee enemas, man, if you're willing to do that, major help for your liver, okay? As well as your entire well-being, mind, body. And, for the long-term plan, a $50 investment on how to upgrade your entire body to have twice as much vitality 10 years from now as you do now. $50 is so cheap it's insulting for what it is, so don't underestimate it, my friend. Much love. Moving on. Kai Sutton. What is your opinion on DMT and other psychedelics? Well, psychedelics as a whole, my opinion is this. They blow open doors of perception. They open portals. The reason you've heard horror stories as well as life-changing awesome transformations is because it depends on how grounded the individual is who's opening those doors. If you're not grounded enough, you can lose your fucking mind. Because your entire reality currently is made out of shitty beliefs. You're not ready for anything like that. If you are more grounded and healthy in your mind, body, and spirit, they can be the most invaluable, life-changing, upgrading tools you've ever heard of. So I would not blindly suggest psychedelics to anybody. A lot of people are not ready for them. Humans on this planet are very ungrounded. So I can't go recommending them. But I can tell you, if you're grounded enough, tremendous opportunities can be attained by opening those portals if you're ready to make use of what you can encounter when you do so. Now, DMT specifically, I've never taken man-made DMT, but I can tell you this, your lungs make DMT, and when you do power breathing or shamanic breathing or Wim Hof breathing or any kind of breathing exercise, you very much start producing more DMT. You can get into a deep trance. You can even leave your, well, I don't want to freak anybody out. Breathing exercises are more powerful than you realize, and DMT is a naturally made connector between different dimensions. It is. Those who don't believe that, they come back believing it because it is. So I don't have a whole lot more to say than that. A few interesting points, I guess. Much love. Moving forward, David Edmonds. Another monster. I'm a guy who's 38 and looking to build a better physique while remain injury-free, of course. Are there any general training advice you would give? I've done weights for the last 6 years, but a busy lifestyle with a child and 12-hour work shift means I can't eat religiously on a consistent basis. I've had results, but nothing mind-blowing. Ectomorph physique here. Okay. 6 foot with long limbs. Advice always appreciated, and you bring a totally new perspective to what's out there. Success is coming, brother. Thanks, man. Let's see. I don't know if this will work for you, but what I usually suggest to people with similar questions is when it comes to an ectomorph. Now, I've like I said, I've been a personal trainer in the past and actually worked, one-on-one training with people. And I had a good friend who was a total ectomorph. And in one summer, his goal was to look like Rambo from, I think, Rambo 3. We had like a poster, and that was his goal. And I was working on the Conan look. And he looked like Rambo by the end of the summer. He went from just totally skinny. He went from, I think, he was about 5'7", he's shorter than you, but very ectomorphic. And he went from like 130 pounds to 155 pounds and leaner. And man, he looked jacked. It was impressive. And what I noticed with him was the whole key. When we started making progress with him was when he hung out with me after the workouts and he ate with me. He drank the shakes with me that I was making and stuff. You ectomorphs don't have much of an eating instinct. You don't have much of a hunger element to you. You may think you do, but you don't. So what I'm saying here is 9/10 of your success is the ability to long-term work into your lifestyle those extra nutrients you need. For me, a simple example, and you could do something different if you like, But a simple example, if I had your body and I was going to work and I needed to get more nutrients in my case, in the morning, I would take my blender and blend up a bunch of organic peanut butter with maybe cinnamon and something else to taste good. I could even mix in some herbs and blend in with it, stuff like that, or not. And then I'd put some ice in it, put it in a couple thermoses or something, and I'd make the effort each day. I'd make the commitment to each day drink one or two of these big high calorie gainer shakes. You put ice in it, put it in a thermos, take it wherever you're going, work, day out, whatever it is, and make the effort to slam one or two of those extra each day. And once you get consistent at that and you make it fit in your lifestyle where it's not a struggle or anything, that's what'll add up to your success over time, okay? You just have a metabolism it's just burning things up a little faster than the speed of growth would be more optimal. So you just have to compensate for that. The same way I have to compensate in the other direction of not eating too much carbs at any one time, because I'll gain too much mass and it won't be the kind I like. So that's what it is. It's the commitment to accommodate your success. And as an ectomorph, you guys are always, every ectomorph I've trained with, you guys are always athletic, you always work hard, you always put in your effort in the gym, you're never lazy. It's always a matter of you don't know how to consume enough to keep up with your fast metabolism. So those are my tips. That's how you're going to win in the long run, my man. And you know, it's not a bad thing. In a society where people tend to be obese and have a lot of sluggish metabolism problems, in this modern world, there's certain advantages to being an ectomorph. You tend to not accumulate quite as much toxic baggage as the next person. I'm not saying you're not toxic. Everybody's toxic in this society, clear to their damn bones. But I'm just saying you don't tend to accumulate as much toxins as the next person. So to me, it's like, look at the bright side. Yes, I have to get in the habit of making myself consume more calories, but at the same time, every time you gain 5 pounds of muscle, it's going to look fucking amazing, dude. Whereas with me, sometimes I can gain 5 pounds of muscle and I don't even notice it. You know what I mean? Because it's sort of blended in with everything else and it's not so obvious the way it's popping out. So there's always an up and a downside to everything, but that's how you win as an ectomorph. It's all about the dietary leg of the table. That's the biggest thing holding you back. Much love, my friend. Next question. Sean McGill, how do I deadlift with SI joint pain? Recently I've worked up on mobility, box squats are okay, but I feel my SI joint on pulling variations including trap bar and my back will sort of lock up. Damn. Would Jefferson block pulls be best? I don't know. Only you would know that by trying it, because it's really weird when you got something that's trying to spasm. I can never make sense of it. I'll have a muscle somewhere that's freaking out on me, and I'll like try to pick up a sock off the floor. I'll turn to pick up a pencil or some shit, and that'll set it off. And yet I can go down there and lift 1,000 fucking pounds on my back and not make it any worse. So what I'm saying here is it's really kind of weird sometimes the way a certain thing gets triggered. So you'll have to try the Jeffersons yourself. Just start out light, and you'll be able to tell if you feel that feeling like it's going to fuck it up. You'll know. You don't have to go heavy and prove it to yourself. If it feels wrong, stop short of making it worse. My idea on this, now, I don't know if you're doing stretches. You said you've been working on mobility, so I'm going to assume that you're already doing that leg at the table. Nutrition and body health and vitality is the other side of this. I used to be held back by a lot of things like that. Now I'm not. And again, it comes down to the stuff that's in my Nether Better Upgrade manual. I can't tell you just take these one or two things out of the manual because I can't be sure that would work. The manual is what it is for a reason. Everything in it is put together synergistically because it all works together to solve a whole plethora of challenges and then just unlock potentials you didn't even know you had, as far as your recovery, your tendon strength, your nervous system strength. So if you're working on the mobility part, all I can say is now it's on the nutrition and the detox side of things to give your body what it needs to resolve whatever's actually inflamed in there, okay? That is my honest answer. That's how I approach things like this. Like I said earlier to another person's question, sometimes therapeutic work is only going to get you so far because you're lacking certain nutrients and your body's not absorbing certain things well enough, so it just can't repair what needs repaired because it's not getting the building blocks to do it. That's another reason the Another Better Upgrade manual includes all the deep detox methods, because until you get all the shit out of your body that's blocking its functions, you can't absorb nutrients near as well anyway. So even the good supplements you guys take, it's limited on how much of it you're actually able to absorb and use. So there's a yin and a yang to this. The deep detox part is just as important as all the badass nutritional herb stacks, and it's all together for a reason. So if you wanted, well, that's enough. That's my honest answer. That's what I can say about that, man. Much love. Ursus Arctos. Yeah, okay. I was trying to speak bear. What do you think about consuming a glass of wine a day during meals? Do you think alcohol at such a low dose is still harmful? No, I don't. Especially red wine. It's been shown that people who drink a small amount of red wine live longer than people who don't. So it's one of those things where if you're a person who really can drink one glass, you're probably great doing that. Now I don't, because with me there's no such thing as one glass. If I open the bottle, I'm slamming that bottle. And then after that, my inhibitions go down, I might grab another bottle. That's always been the way with me and alcohol. But there are people who can easily just drink that one glass. What it tends to do is vasodilate and improve circulation a little bit. And that's the main theory they have out there about why that one glass of wine a day tends to statistically make most people live longer rather than shorter. And also, strangely enough, one glass a day of alcohol, wine anyway, I don't know about other forms. One glass a day of wine tends to improve people's insulin sensitivity, believe it or not. Now, it would depend on what you're mixing it with dinner. Alcohol, I'm not sure how good of a food combination that actually is with other foods, but we're just talking in theory about the alcohol itself at that dose. Is it harmful? It is a bit of a toxin. I mean, your liver's going to have to clean out the alcohol, but what I'm saying here is the math shows that when you weigh the goods and the bads of drinking one glass of alcohol a day, it tends to make lives longer. So yeah, I'd say you're just fine with that, man. And if that's something you like doing, I don't see no problem with it. Another question. I fast until 7 p.m., then I eat at most 500 grams of vegetables like spinach or peas or broccoli, plus flax and pumpkin seeds. Second round is 300 grams of pasta with curcuma, chili, plus other seeds. Third round, 200 grams of beans, chickpeas, lentils. Fourth round, 200 milliliters or 400 milliliters of milk. Depending on the amount of calcium I need to get. I gotta reference that in a minute. The question is, how bad is it that I eat a huge amount of pasta if I'm not gluten intolerant and I seem to work well? Do you think it's still doing harm even though I'm not noticing it? Plus, I'm matching all the micronutrients I need to make. So, sorry for the super long question. Hey, no problem, man. It takes as many words as it takes to word a question. And really, it's better if the question's more clear, so don't feel bad about that. Oh, let's see here. Like I said before, I believe that gluten is not really in anyone's best interest, but if you really think you're noticing zero harm, I would say don't worry about it. However, if you get to a point where you're noticing certain health challenges, you might want to consider that they could be linked to gluten and do a little research and see if they could be. And that might give you some inroads and clues or whatever down the line if that becomes an issue. In the meantime, though, I'm not going to sit here and harp on you religiously and tell you you're an idiot. Not at all. Maybe you are doing a pretty good job of that pasta. I don't know. I can't say for sure, so I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong. The micronutrients are great. I'm glad you're getting so many vegetables. As long as you're digesting all that well and you're liking your body composition and energy and how you feel, I don't see any need to try to correct it or anything. So what else were you asking me here? Now the milk. So you're doing both gluten and milk. And let's say I was at a let's say I was at a casino right now and they said bet on red or black. And I knew that if I bet, why am I comparing this? What I'm saying is I'm betting that between the dairy and the gluten that you're eating, I have a way more than 50% chance of winning if I say that at least one of those is not doing you any good. Probably both of them, but at least one of them isn't doing your health any good. That being said, I'm not harping you, I'm not trying to scare you, none of that. I'm just saying that if you do your research, you'll find that gluten and dairy are two of the biggest problems overall that are mass consumed. That and refined sugar, probably the most obvious one. But anyway, my man, just keep watching your body. And if you run into any health challenges, you can Google and see if you can find any connections between people noticing that health challenge being related to gluten or dairy or both, okay? I would just keep my eyes open going forward and be aware of that, okay? That seems like a reasonable approach for now. Much love, man. Clandestine. Have you ever or would you consider doing in-person workshops or meetups? Also, in which part of North America are you? Well, I keep that a secret so that people aren't showing up at my door, my friend. Due to other pursuits in my life, I've actually been keeping a low profile for some time before I even started doing YouTube. Because there are people that will show up at my door and that fucks with my family life. And I keep my family space sacred for my kids and my wife and me to have a good family life. Keeps me grounded and sane. It's really important to me. When you're asking, would I be open to one-on-one workouts? Well, theoretically, yes, but it's just not, that's not the platform I'm doing any of this by here. And I do not have time. The way my schedule is and all the things I'm doing in life, I don't have time to one-on-one train anybody. So that's why I put multiple different badass programs in the Another Better Upgrade manual. And like I've told people, anytime you think you're even beginning to plateau on one of those programs, simply jump on another one. They're all completely different, and they will all completely build your whole body. So you can't go wrong there. Plus, all the nutritional and detox information gives you what some of you would call way better genetics. Now, it's not really giving you... It's taking the genetics you have and vastly improving on it, is what it is. So that's the reason I made the manual, is because it takes everything and puts it together so any of you guys can benefit from what it is I've learned to benefit from over all these years. And I've had to struggle hard for it, and you don't have to struggle hard for it at all. The risk for you guys is that you won't value it because you didn't have to go through 20 plus years of what I have, countless fucking thousands of hours of research, countless different trials to figure out how all those things work together. It's really easy to overlook the benefit of it when it's just a $50 packet of information you buy. But man, try not to undervalue it, okay? Try and understand it. It's more miraculous. The potential's there than what you think. I could see you running some kind of shamanistic strength shop in which you overhaul the students' belief systems and instill your limitless belief system. Just a thought. Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, but you know, the thing is, it actually, to help change somebody's belief system, it takes time. It's a lifelong process. Like, I'm changing my own as fast as I can, and it's not as fast as I want it to be. It's not. Obviously, I'm a lot further on progress with that. I can access a lot more myself and awareness and abilities than most people currently walking the earth. But trust me, for the amount of effort I put in, the amount of mistakes I've made, I'm not near as far on my own journey as I'd like to be. That being said, it's awesome where I am at now. And it'll only continue to, from the gains of consciousness I made so far, it only makes it that much easier to keep expanding from here. I can never be pulled back in to all the bullshit that people are stuck in this world. There's a lot of people that get a little bit out, but then someone will scare them right back into the trap. You can't do that to me anymore. I'm way past that point. So anyway, it's a very interesting idea. It's just that I don't have time, and that's why I'm using a platform where I can connect to people around the world so that this information gets to whoever it's meant for. And that's for you to decide for yourself. How much of it is for you, how much of it you're willing to be open to, how much of it you're willing to apply to yourself and benefit from. And this way I can affect a lot more change on this planet than if I just work with one person hours and hours a day for their whole life to try to help them change their consciousness. Nothing wrong with in-person workshops, and certain people are really good at that, but I have a lot more of a calling to this platform, you know, the way it is now. But cool ideas, man. Very interesting. And you never know in future chapters down the line what might be unfolding. So, we'll see. Let's see, who's this? Much love. Moth Dog 4. Is the one we call Jesus truly the Son of an Almighty God? Well, this is one of those questions that's... there's so much to expand on here. Jesus truly was, while walking the earth, the Son of Almighty God. But as he himself taught every way possible, despite the fact that somehow everybody managed to miss the point, so are you. He said, ye are gods too, and some of you will work greater miracles than me. But when you live in a world where nobody's ever accepted that message, look where we are. Everybody's cut off from what they are. And it's all based on false beliefs and misconceptions. And the same people that tortured and murdered him turned around and rewrote the meaning of what he lived here for and created a religion that everybody's bowing down to now. Should have been a pretty obvious sign that when somebody tortures someone to death and murders them and then makes a religion out of their name, that religion's probably not what the person intended, is it? Like he said, they're going to make a martyr out of me and they're going to make all kinds of false things out of my name. It's not like he didn't see it coming. It's not like he didn't tell everybody. But as many times as he told people that you're also fruits on the tree, just because I'm the first fruit to bloom and blossom and show you what fruit can be bared, you all can bear fruit as well. But nobody wanted to listen. Everybody wanted to put him on a pedestal and say, no, you're going to save us all from ourselves. And you have the same thing today. You have entire religions, and it's not just Christianity, that want to sit on their hands and wait for something to come save them from themselves instead of realizing Christ consciousness is something you can access yourself. Christ is a level of consciousness. It's not a person. His name was not Jesus Christ. It wasn't even Jesus. Not that that really matters, but Christ is not a name. Christ is a level of consciousness where you're connected to your higher self, and he was fully. He was just way more advanced and ahead of his time, and he knew it, and he was uncompromising. He wasn't willing to tell half-truths. So the powers that be tortured and murdered him and twisted it into a fucked up control system called a religion. So there you go. Feels good to speak the truth, even if somebody out there is getting real hateful at me for it right now. Much love, my friend. Do you recommend your manual even for novices? Yes, I do. Because as it says in the manual, for anybody, it's going to take time to learn to apply all the things in it. But even as a novice, even as a beginner, even as anything, you don't even have to lift. The most important parts of what's in that manual are not the programs. As awesome as the lifting programs are, and as superior as they are to, if I might say, to the vast majority of what people are doing for weightlifting, the real value in that manual is in all the nutritional and health lifestyle implementation. And as a young person, if you apply a lot of that stuff, you will develop a body that is more fully developed and a brain that is more fully developed than you would have otherwise. And then you'll be working with more in your life. You'll have more to work with. You know, your body being your house or your set of tools or whatever you're having this incarnation through. Yeah. In fact, the younger a person is when they start applying things from that manual, the better. The more of a badass jumpstart on upgrading your capacities mentally, physically, even spiritually. It's amazing how when your mind and body are clearer, higher spiritual concepts all of a sudden make sense to you. Things that you used to just reject and say, oh, that couldn't be true. It's because your filters were too clogged to let it in. So yes, I'd recommend it to anybody of any age. Absolutely. And any level of athleticism or weightlifting experience, etc. And the thing is, even though the exercises that I have listed in the workout programs in there, a lot of them are somewhat unconventional, they're not more dangerous than conventional lifts. In fact, so many fucking people have ruined their shoulders with bench press. So many fucking people have ruined their lower backs doing deadlifts. Those are not even safe exercises. They're not. And that's what we're going to teach to every beginner because some old dude that's dead now did it before me and therefore it must be the right thing to do. It's mindless, no thought, unconscious sheepisms. The lifts in the Nether Better Upgrade Manual are no more dangerous, and in fact some of them are less dangerous than the more commonly used lifts. So there is no reason why anybody has to be afraid that there's something in that manual you can't handle. Apply whatever you understand in the manual, and as life goes on and you understand it more, you'll be able to apply even more and get even more miraculous benefits, okay? Starting at any age and any level of experience with training or anything else. Very cool question, Tristan. You got another one here. What are your future goals for this channel? Awesome question. Let's see. Well, I'm open to a lot of potentialities, but ideally, I would like it to get as big as it reasonably can without me trading out anything I'm about. I won't go mainstream. I won't trade my ways. I won't drop my own beliefs. I won't compromise on what I'm about. But that being said, I want it to get as big as it reasonably can under those conditions, because I so fucking believe in what I'm sharing with people here. The amount of people that can heal themselves of diseases, the amount of people that can upgrade their lives and their goals and their sense of well-being and what they create and how they affect this world, there is no saying what a difference it can actually make. So that's my goals. To be expansive, to get the energy and the understandings and the information out there so more of the people in this world that are actually ready for things like this can get activated. They can get awakened, and they can apply these things and change the whole world just by being more conscious and alive and healthy and vitality, and not so crushed by small-minded shitty beliefs and bad health that you got an entire planet of people that are just living like this because they don't have the energy physically, mentally, or spiritually to do anything else. I'm here to correct that, okay, for anybody open to it. And some of you are here to do so as well. Some of you may turn out to be more instrumental players in this than me. We're all in this together, guys. So whatever that means to you, however much that means to you, however much you feel me there, that tells you it's your calling as well. We can change the world, and this is how. First, you have to take away every dysfunctional, retarded belief that you've been taught, because none of them are doing us any good. That's why the world's a shithole. You have to recreate your own consciousness so that your life can actually do good. But you can't do that if you let the world tell you what good is. It'll just put you right back in the same box. If you want to find how you can make a real impact in this world, you can only find it in your own heart. And you have to silence the chatter of the monkey mind and all the bullshit that's been programmed into it to do that. Yes. Okay. Very cool question, my friend. Much love. I am usually... Okay, I don't know how to say your name. Asuyx? I don't know. Aseyux. Hopefully I didn't butcher that too bad. I am usually training late, which means that by the time I am finished, I shower and go directly to bed. I also don't eat breakfast, so there goes usually 8 to 16 hours between my workout and a meal. Wow! Could this somehow hurt my progress? I don't really feel anything, so I can't really tell myself. Well, what are your main goals? If your goals are just to have an awesome, athletic, functional, healthy, aesthetic, good body, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. In fact, you're probably extending your longevity by doing this. And in fact, I know you are. If your goals, however, are to get as much gains in mass as possible from your workouts, I would suggest trying to make sure you do eat at least something before you go to bed. It doesn't have to be a gigantic feast, but if you could even take down 30 grams of protein of some healthy source before you crash, that'll help you get a little more gains from the workouts you're doing, okay? And they'll be only lean gains. You won't gain an ounce of fat because you're still under eating. However, if you enjoy having that long fasting period and that's very important to you and this would interrupt that, just keep doing what you're doing. All I'm saying is if you want to get as much size as possible the way you're doing it, you probably want to eat a little closer to your workouts. But you're not screwing yourself. You're not shooting yourself in the foot. You're just making your body that much more efficient. And in fact, when the powers that be screw this thing up so bad, everything goes off the grid and we all slide back into living off the land, you're going to be more prepared for that. Your metabolism is already very comfortable having to do rigorous physical activity and then not eat for extended periods of time. Because that's a more natural thing. We all did that as tribes people for eons. It's a very natural thing. So health-wise, what you're doing is great. My only antidote to throw in there is if you want to gain a little more size, you probably do want to eat some protein after your workout before you sleep. That's it. That's it, man. For you to consider. Much love. The Big Dirty. Oh no. Hey dude, love your videos. I can listen to your videos for 4+ hours a day and it feels like 10 minutes. Wow, man. That's awesome. Just wondering if you could share how you turn your passion for training into a career, and could you talk even a little bit about what are the options for people trying to follow a similar path? Interesting, yeah. I guess it is becoming a career of sorts. How did this happen? Well, first you got to take that step of starting a channel, which is easy. It's easy to start a YouTube channel. So what you want to do is if you do, because we're talking about others that might want to do this, and several of you, like I said, guys, check the links. Several of you are doing this. You're starting new channels and they're exciting. Great visions, you know. So that's why I can hardly wait to get you more subscribers, to get it going faster. And I'll do that for any of you guys on this channel. You're all an exceptional crowd. If you start a fitness channel, let me know, and I'll link your channel in one of these videos to get you some subscribers, to get you started. So yeah, whatever your vision is, whatever, make your channel about what you care about, like I'm doing. Don't be a pussy and sell out and do shit that, oh, it looks professional or it looks like every other video I've seen. Don't sell out and do some shit because you think it's going to have mass appeal. Now you can. I'm sharing my opinion since you asked. My opinion is be authentic to you. And if some hater, no matter what you do, somebody that's just not accepting responsibility for their own life is going to come hate on you because they can on a keyboard, because they know you can't punch their teeth out for it. Ignore that shit. You can even put those people on ignore, so they're not even a distraction. They can't even post. What I'm saying is be true to whatever your authentic vision is. If you have a passion in fitness or in anything else, nobody else is going to have that exact take on it. And it's meant to be. The world should get to see your take on it, because certain people are going to benefit from your take more than anybody else's. And that's why a World Wide Web is so cool. You could start a little shop in your local neighborhood, but if it's not mainstream and watered down enough, you're not going to have any business. But when you're talking to the whole world and you're reaching out, be the authentic you, and then you'll find who's like-minded. You'll find who has like interests. You'll find who wants to add to that energy and expand upon it. And it's a wonderful thing. You'll find that your real connections are in every corner of the world. Those of you guys that are closest to me, you're all from different continents, man. You're all from different pockets of the planet. And it's fucking awesome. I love that. So my suggestion is just be true to you, be real, and realize that the right people will find that and very much value it. And again, I'll help any of you guys starting a channel. Let me know, okay? There's nothing like getting your first, I don't know, few hundred subscribers all of a sudden to really motivate you. Like, oh my gosh, I have a real audience. People care what I think. They care what I'm doing. It makes you that much more motivated and stimulated. You get up out of bed in the morning excited because you have this creative vision of what you want to share with the world that you know is valuable. So hopefully that's a good little synopsis. But yeah, any of you guys, don't be afraid to start a YouTube channel. Even if for some reason it doesn't work out, who cares? What would you lose by doing that? Nothing. Nothing would be any different. So you can't go wrong. Start a channel and be true to yourself and show it to me, and I'll support you, okay? And if I disagree with something you're doing, I won't post it publicly on your channel. You know, we can email each other privately about what do you think about this and what do you think about that. I do that with collaborators. We talk privately about things. We don't question each other on threads where certain trolls are going to misunderstand that and use it. Oh, so-and-so's criticizing so-and-so. No, some people just like to make fights between people that don't need to be there. There don't need to be any fights. If we have any different approaches, we can talk about that privately. But even if somebody's fitness channel has a totally different approach than me, which pretty much every channel does, doesn't mean I'm not going to support it, because your channel is going to be perfect for somebody, okay? As long as you're being authentic to yourself, there's going to be somebody out there. There's going to be lots of people out there eventually that are going to find that it's going to be highly valuable and relevant to them and their path and their journey. So no matter what your vision is, guys, hit me up with it. Unless it's the most awful thing like if you're trying to do child porn, I'm not going to support you, but almost anything else, you have a vision where you believe it can make this world a better place. You know what I mean? I'll support you guys and help you get that channel started, just so you know. Much love, my friends. And going forward, we can all be connected. We can all share traffic. If we're all supporters of each other, we're all gaining traffic from different places, and then we can share that. Everybody can look at each other's channels, and all of our channels grow faster. This is called being expansive and sharing and making the world a better place. Instead of being petty, stingy little cunts and everybody stabbing each other in the back and trying to get a scrap and screw somebody else over. Those are the belief systems that make this world a shithole. That's why I'm here to do the opposite. And I think a lot of you guys are here to do it with me. So, yes, let's expand these things together, man. Just make sure you're being you. Be authentic from your heart. I can always recognize that, and there's value in it. And I'm very supportive of it. Much love. Next question. The unknown. Dear Nether, when I was 4, I broke my arm in 2 different places. I'm 17 now. The doctors repaired one area. However, they did not realize about the other break on my elbow. As a result, my scar tissue set on my elbow. My scar tissue set on my elbow while my arm was in a cast, and I can no longer bend my arm past a certain angle, and the range I can rotate my arm is limited. I was wondering your thoughts on this and ideas as how to improve the situation on my arm. Thank you, much love. Much love to you. I will be honest with you. My immediate thoughts is you need everything for the skeletal system in my Nether Better Upgrade Manual, and then you need to force that range of motion every day a little bit further. My brother had an injury like this in his knee that healed without full range of motion, and I told him you need to start bending it to where it's uncomfortable, and even if it's microscopic, you need to make some improvements to that range of motion each day. Now, I had an elbow like that. I don't even want to talk about how they got the injury, but I've had my elbow torn completely out of socket and turned my arm completely the wrong direction and everything. And when it healed up, it had a lot of buildup in the joint, so I couldn't bend my arm all the way in, like it was blocked here. And that was that way for years. I thought I was stuck with it. In fact, my plan was to make my biceps so big that they pushed on my forearms from here, so it didn't matter anymore that I lacked. And they have gotten a lot bigger, but what actually happened was, when I started putting together all the things that are in my Nether Better Upgrade Manual, it broke down that deposit of buildup that was in the joint, and I slowly got my full range of motion back. Now I have it. So you say it's scar tissue, and maybe that's exactly what it is, but it also might be a buildup of bone or cartilage that's in the way, that's shoving on something. So when it comes to bone remodeling, all I know is if you put together everything in my Nether Better Upgrade Manual, bone remodeling and tendon remodeling and all that becomes a lot more possible, okay? So I would do that, and then I would work the range of motion each day. I'd go in. You don't want to hurt it, make it all inflamed and swollen. I'm not saying overdo it, but just work on it. Work on extending that range, and whichever way you're limited, work on extending it a little bit each day. Get that Nether Better Upgrade and the whole stack of nutrition in there for your skeleton, and your skeleton will have what it needs nutritionally to remodel, and you'll be giving it the stimulus each day saying, I want to be able to bend a little bit further this way, okay? I would put those two things together. That is how I would approach that, in all honesty, my friend. Much love. Next question. Divine Terror. Hi, Nether. Is doing Jefferson deadlift every 2 days overkill? Can you tell me some